G'day everybody, Seano here and welcome back to my round 7 live chat stream. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm doing fantastic. Just finished watching the footy on Thursday night if you're watching this in the future. Not very exciting game in the end, but there's a few things we've got to talk about, so I guess we'll do that in a second. But before we do, make sure you subscribe, hit that sub button for me. That would help me out a lot. Thank you for all your support, everybody. It's been very, very humbling. But if you haven't already hit that sub button, please do that for me now. That would be absolutely awesome. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below or like the video. First, you can like the video. And if you're watching the video in the future, leave me a comment down below. Now, don't forget, if you pop your team in the Discord, I'll put a link in the chat. If you pop your team in the Discord, it will we'll put it up on the screen on tonight and we'll have a chat about it. So yeah, all those things we're going to do. So I guess we should probably get into it. And I just noticed that there we go. There's the Seano schedule. There we go. So hope everybody's doing okay. If you're in chat, please make yourself known. I'll make sure the chat is working. It looks like it's working to me. Or is it not working? Is chat working or is chat not working? Doesn't look like it is working. Could we try it again? There we go. There we go. Hey, Ranger, how are you? There we go. Hey, Ranger, how are you? Mate. Yep, Matthew. You can call me Matthew if you want. It's not my name, but it'll work. How are you tonight, Ranger, mate? I saw you put your team in there, so we'll definitely get to your team. What did you just finish watching the game as well, buddy? What did you think? Nice to see that Bont managed to get past there, get out of the tag, and get the 127, as we can see on the screen at the moment. Yeah, nice to see him to be roaming around behind the ball there and kind of break that Jordan tag, which was very nice to see him get a decent score. Unfortunately for me, I don't know about you guys, but in my league, if we have a quick look at the league over here, my opponent has a Grundy for the vice captain, Miss Joanne, she's going to get a 302, which is going to be a bit nasty. I got to hope that Mr. Gorn for me is going to be able to have a big match as well. Yeah, I knew it was going to be bad. I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to be that bad. I don't know if you guys have this and girls have this issue. There's always one person in your league that seems to like pull it out of their backside and manage to beat you with some lucky, like some rookie comes on the field and scores 100 when they never should for the first time ever. Well, that's Joanne in our league, and she always seems to get it done by some absolute miracle. So I think the last couple of times I've beaten her, but this could be one of those miracle times. And I do also notice that I traded out a Mr. Sarong, and what did he get? She's got him as an emergency for a 93, so I'm sure she'll work out some way, probably by putting Buderick on the field. Oh, no, she won't be able to do that, but I'm pretty sure she'll work out a way to get that 93 on the field and make it difficult for me. So I hope your opponents out there did not have Grundy, my friends. Happy you're VC, but annoyed. So who did you have VC? Do you have Bont or did you have Grundy? That Norton injury was nasty. Yeah, it didn't look good. It didn't look. Apparently, he's okay. They said on the telecast. Doesn't look. It looked bad, but it's not that bad. They're saying, but I guess they say that every time. Don't like cheese. Ed Richards stinks. Assume that means you've got him in your team. Yeah, not a great game by Ed. I guess we can bring up the scores. This is going to be a little bit small. We can probably blow it up a little bit for you guys. Yeah, Ed, what did he get? A 83. Not the best game for him ever. Bont, was very not happy to see the Bont get the 132. Dale, 111. Is anyone thinking about Dale? He's a bit of a roller coaster ride last year. He's had a couple of good weeks now. Is anyone actually considering Dale? A few of our rookies did all right. Selwood got a 71. Jake's got a 68. They're both on my bench. but I could get Jake's 68 if I wanted. I'm undecided whether I want to do this. I could wangle it if Blamiers is out. We don't know if Blamires or Blamiers is out. If he is, I could get him instead of in this spot here and potentially get Jake's 69. I don't know whether it's worth going for that or not. It would be over Farrow, basically. Do I think Farrow could score more than 69 is what I have to ask myself. Not too sure. But yeah, anyway, back to the scores. We got Sanders 102. Like we said, Richards 83. Treloar 79. He was on 50 at half time. And I believe he played low time on ground. He played 61% time on ground. And he had, at one point, he ended up third in the CBAs. But once he was second of the CBAs. It's kind of semi-interesting to me if he gets his more time on ground. And depending on what happens when Libba comes back. So I probably wouldn't get him this week. But if he came back and played with Libba and still had reasonable CBAs, I think Treloar at his price, as injury riddled and as risky as it could be, might be the way to go. Cheese, you still love Ed Richards anyway? I bet your Ranger likes Ed Richards, don't you? You like brothers. He is your brother, right, Richards? Hey, Michael, how are you? Good to see you, mate. Nice to see you too. Had Grundy and too scared to risk it for Gawn. Yeah, Gawn with they still kept Max Heath, so they're still playing the dual ruck. Yeah, I think Gawn will be all right, but will he score 150? I don't know. Held Sarong, Jackson Selwood. Bont is definitely the GOAT. He is the GOAT. Breaks the... I mean, he got tagged the other week. Maybe they've worked out that this is the way to play tag after the Mullen tag the other week. So maybe in future, if they try and tag him, they'll do this. But he certainly performed a lot better than I thought he would be coming back from injury and, and copping the tag as well. Yeah, Richards' younger brother. I believe it. So that's the Bulldogs side. Here's the scary side for those of us out there with Grundy. Congratulations if you've got the vice captain on Grundy. If it's not stating the absolute obvious, you want to keep that score. Do not roll the dice on other scores that are one. I saw it as 150, I thought. 147, they're saying there. 151 before scaling at the moment in Supercoach. So yes, don't be turning that down, my friends. Yep. And Warner, I think don't get too excited about Warner Crew. This was pretty much a domination by Sydney. Don't Sydney look good? Don't Sydney look really good? Surely they're the premiership favourites at the moment. I mean, no Heaney, no Goulden, and they still demolished the Bulldogs. Yes, the Bulldogs are a little bit undermanned with no English, no Darcy. Obviously, they lost Norton for part of the game, plus probably others I can't think of, but they're still, Sydney look very, very dangerous. Curnow, probably his best game for Sydney so far, 7 goals, 2. If you had him since the beginning, well done. Yep. Warner, I wouldn't really be considering a Warner. It had to kick 3 goals to get this 100, and he's not going to kick 3 goals every week, so he's still one that I wouldn't be looking at. 101 from Mills, 100 from McCartan. Sarong, 91. Yes, I sold him, so you can all thank me out there for selling him this week. And, of course, he's going to get a 90. I'm not too unhappy, though. Let's have a quick look and see how much money is this 90 really going to kick his cash gen back into gear. So, prediction, if he gets a 90... and then say the next 2 weeks, we'll give him 75 the next 2 weeks. So he makes 10K this week with the 90, and then if he gets 75 for the 2 weeks over, he'll get another. So he'll make about another 30K if he can go 75 for the next 2 weeks. So I guess that's not bad. It's okay, but it's not the end of the world if you've sold him like I have. So I'm not too disappointed. I needed the money for next week. We haven't really talked about it, but we'll do it afterwards. I'll talk about what my trades were in the end after we've gone through the team. So Papley, no. Roberts, write down, if you've got a Justin McInerney, however you say his name, 73, you probably wanted more, especially in a bit of a domination. So, yeah, how many CBAs did that man get? He was right up there with CBAs, so you can't complain there. 70%, the highest behind Grundy, so you can't complain. He just didn't have a great game. So Roll is still there. And then Blakey. If you got Blakey, you'd be a bit disappointed. He looked good. He looked really good. He just didn't score very much. So, yeah, a bit disappointed if you've got Blakey, I guess, as well. Bulldogs as many outs as 2021 Eagles. No one has as many outs as that, Michael. We had people coming in off the street. If you talk about the COVID times where we had to literally grab people from outside of the stadium and put jumpers on them and make them play. Ranger, it's 2022 and 2024 Swans again. They make the GF and get destroyed by 60 plus. Well, hopefully not. Hey, Karen, how are you? Traded Bont out. Oh, Karen. Then last minute out Watkins, drum roll, draw. Bont can come back in a few weeks. Okay, as long as you got a plan, as long as you're going to, if you're selling him, if you got the trade and you're selling him, taking the money, putting it somewhere else and getting him back in a few weeks, I guess that's reasonable. He's not going to drop, he will still drop stupid amounts. Let's have a look. He's got a break even of 260. It's 238 and he gets 135. 135 project. So this week he's going to drop 43k. If he can get let's just give him a 120 the week after and then a 190. That's fine. You'll probably get him at about between 580 and 600. I would think so. Probably maybe not this week, the week after. I would think is probably your prime picking up. Probably not this week, the week after, if you want to get him as cheap as you possibly can, Karen, I would say. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Watching Sarong go 90 is so frustrating, but can't get too annoyed. Had a 64 break even and we need to upgrade someone. Exactly, Cheese. I'm not too disappointed. He had the most money on his head. He had the highest break even. I don't regret it. He got me to where I wanted to go, and I will show you. So this is where I wanted to go. So my trades this week were Sarong out. Let's just do this again so it can make it look even worse for me when it has the 92 locked in there. Bruin out, and I'll explain to you why I'm doing that. Some of you guys and girls might be a little bit wondering why I am doing that. And Myers, who was injured, one of these primos that was injured. For me, if you didn't see my massive rant about Geelongs and their injuries and not telling anybody, and I saw bloody Chris Scott come out during the week and was like, I don't have to tell people, it's none of their business. What a load of BS. It's $1 billion game, Chris. He's like, it's up to Myers. It's not up to Myers. You're a bloody football club. It's not like it's some... if it's like a mental illness or a personal situation, yeah, fine, whatever. But it's not. It's an injury. The football community deserve to know. So stick it up. You know what, Chris? That's how I feel about you and your last minute ins and outs with Myers and knowing about it from early on in the week and not telling us until the teams came out. Very, very unhappy with the old Geelong Football Club, Seano is. Anyway, stop whinging, Seano. We got in Clark, Whitfield, and Anderson. We had a good think about Sardis, but we can get 2 primos in this week by doing it this way. And with the score the way it is, and even though I think Sardis could be good, if he does get a 60 or a 70, it could slow down his score, slow down his money-making ability. So I kind of just wanted to lock in 2 of the big dogs, and I do have a plan for next week, which I can also show you. But firstly, why I've gone Bruin, is because I didn't have a loophole. Devon Robinson, I originally had Devon Robinson off, but if Blamires plays and Duff Tyler plays, which we're not sure of, then I didn't have a loophole. And I wanted to make sure that if Gawn doesn't go off, that I had a chance at another shot at it, which will be probably Dacos will probably be my captain choice if Gawn, especially because I'm concentrating on my leagues at the moment. And a league opponent just had Grundy, who's gone 300. So I'm going to need probably a 125 plus to even have a chance of winning that league. So now, if Blamires is dropped or if Duff Tyler is dropped, I can get Bruin back in and potentially drop Robertson. So I may do that just in case Bruin has a big hit. He has a decent game. But I was listening to some other content creators, a bit of a shout out to DR and The Wiz on their stock market video. And The Wiz had some very interesting things to say. And I'll show you what he said. Should go back and watch that video if you haven't already. But just to paraphrase what he had to say, he said that one of the reasons Brood lost his CBAs, it wasn't because Warpole came in the team. It was because Mulan, O'Shea Mulan, however we want to say it, Geelong, where are Geelong? When O'Shea Mulan tags here, so you got 58% CBAs, that's where Tanner Bruin lost his CBAs. So that was almost the lowest, besides these 2 threes, it's the lowest he's had for a few rounds. So it's nice if he plays that back roundup, position, but now Holmes is back there too. So I thought this was very interesting. And so I thought he's also at that point where he's got a reasonable amount of money on his head and he's got a break even of 59. But if he's kicked out of the CBAs and he doesn't have that back roll, he could potentially score around this and not make much more. But he also could come out and get a 90 just like Sarong did. So if one of those other boys, like I said, if a Duff Tyler or a Blamires is dropped, and there were rumours about Blamires, so we'll have to wait to see the team sheets tomorrow. And Duff Tyler, I don't think Duff Tyler will get dropped because they left out the man. If we look at the teams, they left out the other wannabe ruck. Archer Reed's out. They brought in Matt Flynn, but they left out Archer Reed. So this is the extended lineups. So he could still be, they could play Flynn and Bailey Williams, but I got a feeling they'd probably prefer just to play one out of those two. So I got a feeling Cooper Duff Tyler holds his spot, but I'm not sure about that. The one I'm more thinking that might lose his spot is Blamires, just as probably a managed, the inverted commas, bring it in the screen. So yeah, that's just what I'm thinking. So that's what I'm doing at the moment with only that trade. He could turn into Dev Robertson if I find that I have a loophole with one of those other guys. If not, congratulations to everybody. Bruner's bound to score 100 this week for everybody else with him. Karen Perfect also gives you a chance to see how the Dogs go as they're injury riddled. Yeah, I still think Bont's going to be good no matter what, but especially once English gets back and he gets even more feeding the ball. Geez, that Grundy matchup against the kid this week will look brutal. So I kind of hope English is back for them. Grundy was just everywhere, and their poor kid, he just looked like a deer in the headlights. Jamie says, I'm happy both Sarong and Jax made their break, even seeing I choose to trade Jagger instead. You chose to trade Jagger. You had to get the money you needed. You wanted Jamie, did you? He's on the chopping block for me next week, and I can have a chat about. We're not too far behind in chat. All right, let's bring out my plan. Let's bring out the spreadsheet. And you know what we do when we bring out the spreadsheet, crew? Nerd! Yep. Seano's being a nerd again. So the spreadsheet, I think I've got it set up. So my plan next week, I hope you can read this, crew, is if I have this week I have 160,000 over. You see over here where it says starting on the right-hand side. It says 160,500 left in the bank after the trades I did last week. If I go Robertson down to Rashenko, I'll have 291K in the bank. And then Blamiers to Miller, I can do that. Leaves me a bit of money. And then if Blamiers plays, he'll probably go up enough. If not, this Blamiers is going to have to be a Smith or a Grill, unfortunately. I don't really want to get rid of Smith or Grill at the moment, but if I have to, I will. And that'll get me Miller, and then I could dump Houston as well, and I should be able to afford Worrell, who should come down a little bit. And so both of these other boys are about 300, just under 300,000. And if they get slightly over their break even, so I should have about $1,000 in the bank. And this is also taking into account that Houston will probably lose some money. So this could go wrong. The boys, Smith or Grill, this could be, like we said, could be Smith or Grill, may not go up enough, or they could lose money. And Houston potentially could lose more money if he gets like a 60 or something, and I won't be able to afford Worrell. But at the moment, this way I get two players in my team. They're both round 12, which I don't love, but I don't have a ton of round 12 players at the moment. I think I've only got 3 primos. 1, 2, 3. So that would make a total of 5, which is the maximum that I would like. The only problem that I have with that is if you're concentrating on leagues like I am, crew, have a look. Do you know how to have a look and see during the buys what teams you're playing and who they've got out? Because if you're like me, every year during the buys, I get a bit unlucky, and I just happen to play that team that has nobody out from that buy which you played. You know, you've got a much better team than they have, but all of a sudden they've got all these crazy players in that aren't supposed to be in because they don't have the best players or whatever, and then you lose. So I did look. Now, if you're not sure, you can't look through the game day. You have to look through the leagues. And if you go to the league and then you go into here, nope, that's the game day. You go into your leagues, then you go into the league, and you have to go into results and fixtures. And then through this section over here, you can go right to round 12, and I can see that I am playing my mate Matt. I looked at round 12. Those of you that might remember the old Craig Turley for the Eagles, two of my friends here in the league are both related to Craig Turley. He's their cousins. He's a very nice human being. I've had the chance to meet him a few times, Mr. Turley. Used to play for the Eagles and West Perth over here. So I'm looking here at his team, and I can see that he only has Butters, Sheasel, and Petrarca at the moment. He only has 3 at the moment. So if I go and get 5 from that buy, and he's only got 3 primos, the chances are I'm going to lose that buy round. And I don't know if I want to do that. Now, I definitely want either Miller or Worrell, but maybe I won't get both of them unless I notice that maybe he's got both of them. So that's a sneaky way if you're concentrating on leagues, if you want to have a bit of a check. Karen says you loop Sarong and VC Grundy. Very nice, Karen. Robertson is now captain and Sarong 90 comes on the field. Yeah, beautiful start. The perfect start, Karen. Well done. Just pretty much exactly what my opponent in my league did, like Joanne. Now, she's bound to... I'm still predicted to beat her, but she does cheeky things like leave good players on the bench. So it looks like you're going to win until the last moment. Like I noticed she's got Luke Jackson... Death or Glory. She has a new name every year. Every time. She never lets you have a look at your prediction. Like if I look down here, she's got Luke Jackson as an emergency. She's got Lindsay as an emergency. I assume she'll be taking... Oh, so she got Lindsay... Oh, Sarong is a mid. Any mids in her team out? I don't know if there are any mids in the team out. Buderick's a forward. don't know if she will be able to get that score because unless, I don't know, Mr. Sharp's playing at last. How many of you crew out there kept Sharp like I did? I didn't do it on purpose. I just couldn't really get rid of him. So at least he's playing, which will be nice. It'll be nice to see him get a bit of a score. Hope, yeah, Jamie says that's a win, Karen. It certainly is, Karen. That's almost the perfect start. The perfect start. Well done. Yep. Cheese, since I'm getting rid of Bruin, he's definitely bound to get 110 out of you for you this week. Guaranteed. Oh, Karen, you got Heaney on the bench. Not sure how long he's out. I don't think it's long, according if you believe what the AFL says or the club says. Inclined not to believe anything. At least he doesn't play for Geelong, or you would never know. I think Sydney at least aren't complete a-holes when it comes to releasing injury stuff. Well, there's nothing there. Maybe they are. Maybe they can be put in there. I think he should be back next week. I think they were just thinking about it this week, like a last minute thing. The fact he's not on the list at all, I'd be hopeful that he'd be back next week for you, Karen. Yeah, Mass, that's why I really liked what Wiz said. And Wiz is in the top 100. If you're not already subscribed to his channel, you should go check him out too. He's in the top 100 out of everyone. And he'd noticed that stat, and I hadn't noticed that stat. So all credit to him. And that's why I like watching a lot of the other content creators. Sometimes they have, little gems. And that was a little gem that the CBAs, if Mullen tags Butters this week, it could mean that Tanner Bruhn and Holmes stays in the back line. It could mean that Tanner Bruhn it could be played off a wing. It might not be great for his scoring. I mean, it doesn't mean that he's going to get a low score. It just means there's a chance that he's going to get a low score. So something to be aware of. And that made me a little less worried about getting rid of him, thinking that he was already on the chopping block for me for next week, like we said. What do you guys and girls think of my plan of getting in? So next week, I should have Tuke Miller in the forward line, and Philippou can go up here on the bench in the midfield, and then I'll have some DPP action with the midfield and the forward line. I'll have Tuke Miller here. We'll do this. So my forward line will look like Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett, Flanders, Tuke Miller, and Marshall. Houston will be gone. So my back line will look like Sinclair, Whitfield, Clark, Dacos, Worrell, and Lindsay. And the midfield will look a little bit slim on Butters, Bont, Dacos, Walsh, Rookie, Murdoch, rookie. So quite a few rookies in the midfield. But I also think if I want to, I can swing Miller into there. If I like someone else, if I think Philippou's going to have a decent score, which if Philippou's on thin ice, if he doesn't have a decent score this round, I don't know when he ever will against the Eagles. He should, if he's ever going to score a decent score, it should be this round. So I think he'll be just turn out to be a bench cover. And then my plan for the future will be at some point, hopefully, Murdoch gets forward eligibility. So he will be my 6th forward going forward until almost the end. And then maybe I will swing Marshall back or Lindsay, whoever's doing better, to be my 6th defender unless someone really cheap comes along. Like if I can pick up a Zorko for a 480 or 470, I might snap him up. If in this position after the buys, I'd say, a Trelaw comes out and he starts smashing it, great, get him. Or Jason Horn-Francis gets down to 430 or something and starts on a good run, maybe I'll snap him up. Otherwise, I'll just concentrate on trying to pick off midfielders from about 500 to 550k. So that's the plan. I think the team will look okay that way. We'll be playing the rookies that I think are the most dependable in the midfield on field, and I'll have most of the rookies off the field in the forward and the back line. I still don't love it. I still think the team's a bit shaky. I still think we're going to struggle. We're definitely not going to start shooting up the ranks. Well, we could. You never know. This is the first week I've got no major injury. Well, I don't have like a primo on the bench. We didn't keep Anderson, so maybe we could have kept Anderson, but if we had kept Anderson, we wouldn't have Petrarca, and maybe we couldn't have done these other moves. So I'm reasonably happy where the team's at. Not really, but I'm not super disappointed. I think we can climb up the ranks a little bit if we want. Essendon going to win and Sardis going to turn up? Mass? Probably, because I'm avoiding him. Probably jump on Sardis now too, because I'm not getting him either. I just felt like I had to shore up the primos in my team. Jamie says this week he traded Sardis and Angry, which gives you money for Track and Wilkie next week. Wilkie, you're going to go and get on the Wilkie train? I like it. The week and then Bont the week after. Sounds like a very good plan, Jamie. You should always have a plan. Tismano, how are you, buddy? Nice to see you. Traded Houston, Jai Sarong for Angry Anderson, and Baz. Should have kept Sarong. I didn't want to part with him. Yeah, I think it's fine though. It got your Baz, so you know you got the best midfielder in the league. Like I said, he's only really going to go up another 20, 30k. Yes, that 90 score is going to be nice, but he's not really there for scoring. He's there for money generation. So he'd made you good money. You may be missing out on 30k. It's not like, I doubt very much he's going to go 90, 90, 90 in the next few weeks. If he does and the people have kept him, good for you, but I doubt very much. Apparently, someone said that when he plays at Sydney, he doesn't score that well, not because it's his home ground, but because it doesn't suit wingers because it's a smaller ground. So I heard on the grapevine. So maybe that's a thing. And I believe he's back at Sydney next week. So am I lying? Let's have a look and see if I'm lying about that. Let's have a look. We can just look at Grundy. It's the same deal. So next week it's at the next week SCG, then Marvel again, then SCG. So, and then he scored at the SCG. He got let's Joanne's got him down here. We can actually see exactly what he scored. You guys can see what I'm doing. Yep. So SCG gets a 77. He's got to 54 and a 48. Now, he's still got a 48 at the MCG. So, you know, this is his second highest score between a 126. So, the fact for him to go back-to-back for more than 75s, and like we said, if we give him the 90 this week, what was it, 91, and then he goes 75, 75, it's only 30k. 27, 35k. 35k more he makes, so no, not even. 35k. So you're not missing out on that much. So don't knock yourself around too much. Just the score, and you know, in the long run, hopefully the player you got in will score more than him. At least Scott basically admitted the coaches are playing games with injury time, so what we thought is correct. He came out and said, Jamie, that it's none of our business. He literally said, it's none of our business what's going on with Myers. What a dumbass. Shauno's got some choice words. He's like, oh, yeah, it's none of your business what's wrong with him. What do you mean it's none of our business? It's $1 million game, $1 billion game. What do you mean it's none of our business, you tosser? Handball Happy Meal. McHenry always limits his scoring, 7 games, 79 kicks, and 100 handballs. Yeah, he's not one that I'm targeting. he does have that CBA role though. So especially with Heaney out, he was the number one CBA attender. So he could get a big score, just whether he will or not. If he keeps handballing all the time, he probably won't. Karen, your forward line looks better with Treloar, but he's injury prone, scored 80 tonight, lots of handballs. Yeah, he's on 50 at halftime, and he also only played 64% time, I believe. Just look, Treloar, 61% time on the field, and he was on like 50 at halftime, and he had a lot of CBAs. At one point, behind Bont, he was a second, but you got Richards in there now. So as he builds his, tank back from injury, maybe he gets better. But yes, he is injury prone. And Libba, I don't know if we'll know when Libba comes back. Libba's had so many. I don't know if Libba's going to be the standard injury concussion comeback because he's had so many concussions, and everyone always says, he could be one more concussion away from retiring concussion protocols. So does this mean that he's a little bit longer than the normal person who's out? Not too sure, but if Libba comes next week, maybe that takes away his CBA. So before jumping on Treloar, I'd probably want to have a look at what the team looks like if Libba comes back next week. He's not going to go up in price, so if he comes back next week and Libba's there and he still plays, he goes up to maybe 70% time on ground or 75%, might be one of those picks, a sneaky pick that some of us could take the risk at. Team starting to look good. I know starting is the word, Jamie, right? But it doesn't really, because look at the midfield. You got rookie. Oh, there's lots of rookies in the midfield. But at least the back line seems to be, if the Supercoach gods are friendly to Seano this week, and they haven't been to any other week this so far, they'll let Houston and Dacos have decent scores this week. I mean, I regret both the picks really now. Just doesn't seem that Houston didn't work out, and even Dacos just hasn't worked out since I got him. He looked. Those extra adders to the back line, I didn't think they'd make a difference. But 134, 94, 117. Seano gets him in. He gets a 94, a 95, and a 74. Pretty disappointing. Hasn't even cracked 100 since I got him in. I paid like $520 for him. At least Houston was a bit cheaper. I paid what did I do? $540 I paid for him. And it's given me nothing. So Supercoach gods are not very patient with us. Jed Bustlinger had a good game first off tonight. He's pretty cheap, not a rookie price, but still cheap. He was a rookie last year, right? Scored himself a... a 99. God, I zoomed in that much. Yeah, scored himself a... There we go, sorry. A 99, not bad. What's he cost? What's the price? What's the bus? How much does the bus cost to get? How much does it cost to get on this bus? 215. Well, you'd want him to smack another 100. You'd want him, for that price, at least to 80 next week to even consider him. Like Sardis, he's at that inflated... sorry, what did he got? He got 19 disposals, 5 marks, 1 tackle, 7 contested. Where is he playing? In the back? Yeah, all around the back line. Did he take any kick-ins or anything? No. Reasonable. One to look at in the future. One to look at next week if he has a good game. Yeah, me too. Annabelle James, it made me drop... it made me drop Bruin and keep Deb Robertson. By having Dyson Sharp being named as complicated your plans, was going to use him as your loop, same as me, Sarong 90 plus, and as a loop, C for Grundy 150, hope Gorn scores at least 130 plus tomorrow, so do I, or I'll probably lose my league. I'm with you, buddy. Karen, Yeah, I'm playing. I've got Grill. If Grill scores well, I'll take Smith off and use Grill's score. Well, can I do this and get the loophole as well? Will be the question. We'll have to wait to see if the teams. I need to see the teams really tomorrow before I know 100% what I can do. I might just have to take Grill's score and live with Smith on the field. He could get the roll back. He might not, but he should get the role back. He looks good in that role. I think he's obviously shown out of all of them the most potential for big scoring. So I kind of think Grill. I'm gonna have to get rid of one of them next week, and I don't really want to. If I want to do the two upgrade next week, I'm probably gonna have to get rid of one of Grill or Smith. And Grill with Sam Banks out, I think could have a spike score just around the corner and could be reasonable for on-field scoring. And I'm like you, where I think Smith, if he gets that roll back, we know he could belt out 100 any day. So I kind of really want those. Even though it affects my plans, I would like Blamiers to play and to make his break even, and then I'd probably sell Blamiers next week. Because also another reason I wouldn't mind selling Blamiers next week, he has the round 12 bye. So I want to get some of these players with the even though he's a rookie with the round 12 bye gone. Yeah. So I'm with you. Jagger could have a big score. Hey, Yang, Kuyang, how you going? Yumi with Trelaw tonight, 80 is okay, Karen. But I had reserve on Sarong tonight. You went with Trelaw? You got Trelaw in? Rangy? You need to head to bed, Shauno, but I'll review the... Okay, we'll do your team in a bit, buddy. Yeah, sorry. We could probably do your team now. Why you? I don't know if you're still here, but we'll do your team now. I know you put it in before you go to bed. This is Ranger's team, everybody. Don't forget, if you want to get your team into the Discord, the link should be down there. Well, in the chat, wherever the chat is, over there, or down there. And pop it in Discord and we'll chuck it up the screen. So he went Clark, Anderson for Sarong out and Smith as well. And so he's got his team, looks like Sinclair, Clark, Dacos. He's got the Dacos and Houston. He's got the the Collingwood problem like I have. Farrow Selwood on field, who got a decent score tonight, so that's good for you, buddy. Reasonable score, around a 70, if I remember correctly. Butters, the Bond, Dacos, LDU, Walsh, Bruin, Murdoch, Anderson. You got the Gawn and Grundy, mate. I think Gawn and Grundy owners this week could be very happy. I don't want to jinx myself being a Gawn owner and hoping that he does well. But yeah, I think if you've got this combo of Gawn and Grundy, you could be a very happy human this week. Or Alien, or Dog, or whoever else does Supercoach. Sheasel, Pickett, Rochelle, Flanders, Philippou, Marshall, which standard forward line. Very nice, buddy. I think you could be in for I don't want to jinx you, so I probably won't say I think you can be in for a decent score. I hope you're in for a good score, mate. Certainly in your back line, because your back line looks pretty much the same as my back line, except I've got Whitfield there now. Yeah, so I pretty much hope that your back line goes bananas. Good night, Ranger. I hope you got to see that before you went to bed. Mass, Selwood 260, break even. Bont, yeah, Grundy, break even. Yep. You just telling us the break evens, or you thinking about selling Bont or something, Mass? Hey, Muzz, how are you? You'll be at the game tomorrow. Cool. That'll be great. Want to see the Anzac Day, the big Friday night game. That could be a very exciting, buddy. I hope you have an awesome time at the game. Who would you like to win? Are you a supporter of either club, or are you just there for the fun? Lord is back this week, which may take from Smith. Are you talking about Jamie? Lord is back this week. Are you talking about tagging, or are you talking about might take CBAs, or Probably won't be tagging anyone at Freo, so I assume you mean he'll be taking CBAs away from Smith. Sorry if I'm a bit behind, chat crew. While we'll just kind of chat and look at people's teams while we're going. Don't forget you get the teams in. Take more CBAs off him. Okay, Jamie, I get you. I didn't read the next line. Karen, they may rest Gawn if game over early. Grundy was off for 10 minutes last quarter tonight. Thank God for that, Karen. I'm sorry for the owners, but I was screaming at the screen, no, Grundy, miss. When he gave me a kick for a goal, I was like, miss, please, miss. Stop it, Grundy. He was punishing me. It was like I was in a UFC fight. He was just on top of me, pounding me. But you're going with your brother who goes for the Tigers. Blamires might not even play, Kuyang. He might not even play. Rumours were that he's going to be managed and he's on the extended list. So if he is in your plans of loopholing and things like that, make sure you see the teams next tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing. I could potentially put Broom back in my team if Blamires is left out, but if he plays, and I need to stick with my trades the way they are. So yes, 2 to keep an eye on him, and if you've got Duff Tyler like me, 1 to keep an eye on him as well. And I don't think I'm pretty sure that Philippou, I assume, just going to play. If he gets dropped, I'm not going to be too. You can't score that much anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised. But I assume Philippou just plays. But got coverage. Make sure you got coverage and be careful. Just don't get caught out like people did last week with the ZZ and the captain loophole. Don't get caught out. If you want a loophole, like if you've got Grundy or whatever, make sure you don't trade out your loophole. Just something to keep an eye on. Hopefully, I'll be at work tomorrow, but I should have time to check the teams, hopefully, even though they usually come out right when I'm in the middle of doing the most work that I'm supposed to be doing. So it could be difficult. So Michael said he was happy that Lachlan Smith got named. What did he score in the end? I mean, he did look like a deer in the headlights, but he got a 61 for someone he just had on his bench as a kind of took away his loophole though. So Sinclair, Roberts, McKercher, Houston, Coleman, Farrow. Not too bad. Got some money making there. You got Butters, Bont, Dacos, Walsh, Broom, Blamires. Sardis gets in. Sardis, okay, nice. Murdoch. I think Sardis is going to punish me for not getting him, but hopefully not. Gawn and Jackson. Jackson should go big this week as well as hopefully Gawn and Grundy. Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett, Flanders. Yep, Michael's team looks pretty good. Looks like he's got enough going on to be successful. Fear the Mad Dog. Bont isn't named. If Bont isn't named, yeah, a lot of people trading out Bont. I did try and tell people in the trade video not to trade out Bont. If Bont is playing and looks good in the warm-up, might have a go early on at the Young Tiger Adelaide boys. Yeah, I hope you didn't trade out Bont, mate. It's only 1 week. Like I said to Karen, I kind of understand if you're going for the money, but it's not something I would be doing unless you've got a ton of trades. I'm talking if you've got over 30 trades, if you've got like 32, 30 trades and your plan is to get out Bont and get him in later, then maybe I can get behind it. If you've got less than 30 trades, like I got 25 trades now, and there's no way I can afford to be getting rid of Bont unless he's out for 4 weeks. I can't do it again. I already did it to Anderson. I did it to Sherry. God knows who else we got rid of, but that's just the way. Until the whistle is Fear the Mad Dog. Sinclair, Whitfield, Clark, Blakey. You'd be a bit disappointed with Blakey tonight. Malera, you got a strong back line if they all perform. Lindsay, Ajax, and Perez. Perez not playing this week. It's a bit annoying for the people that got him in last week. What I did fear, that's why I didn't get him in. A little bit annoying. Butters, Holmes, Merritt. I was very tempted to get Merritt in this week, crew, but it just meant I couldn't do my plans for next week. I really like Merritt as a pick. And if Blemires doesn't play, I could do a sneaky trade where I don't get Whitfield and I get Merritt instead. It could be a sneaky change in trades. Sarong, Bruin, Blemires, Sardis, and Murdoch. The pretty good on the bench there. Farrow, Seri, and Anderson. Very nice. Gordon, McAndrew with ZZ, Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett, Flanders. See, all these people, I so regret missing out on Cook. This is like 300, 150. This is going to be like 250K that Seano misses out on here, not getting Cook. Marshall, and I was tempted by Oliver this week. I have to admit, I was a little tempted by Oliver. I just needed a cheap midfielder, or instead of Whitfield. I really looked at Oliver, and then I decided to chicken out. My reasoning being as I don't know if Oliver is a top 8 midfielder, where I think that Whitfield is the top 6 defender. So I end up going on Whitfield, but the extra money I would have saved could have really paid off. Kuyang, Blemires go low 50s. Oh, that's this week's rookie roulette. Sorry, I answered you, but yeah, Smith, sorry, Jamie, no worries. Again, I'll try and catch up on chat now before we get to the next team, to Mr. Mongrels. Shorty says, SC Tug Tour in your main league. We will look at you, Mass, as well. You'll be boosting 3 times 300K players for 2 primos and a rookie next week. I may use another, like I showed you guys, I may use another moose. A moose. Where are you, Ralph? A moose.
Me fail English?
That's what cows do when they want to boost.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
That's impossible. Yeah, that's what cows do when they play Supercoach. They do a moose. Yeah, so I could potentially boost again next week to get those 2 primos in like I discussed, and that would leave me 1 boost left and about 22 trades, which is scary. Karen, you need to get rid of Lombard and Scary. The stagnant, you need to cheap forward rookies. Hopefully next week, we might get Jones from the Bulldogs back. So he is in my plans, in my second plans. So if I have to, I wait on Worrell and I go like a Lombard down to Jones maybe next week. Or also in the midfield, he'll have DPP. He is due to come back. Injury list, Western Bulldogs. Artie Jones, hamstring 1 to 2 weeks. So he'll be on the bubble the week he comes back. So with the DPP, he's one that I've got my eyes on. Rashenko and him. If they're both in next week, I'll probably get both of them, is my thinking. Karen, you're down to 24 and 1 boost living in the fast lane. Yep, I mean, it's been one of those years. So I don't like it, but I'm getting there as well. I know, like I said, I'm trying to play for my leagues, and I know a lot of people in my leagues have more trades than me. So a little bit scary for me, but my rank looks terrible as well. So we're playing for the leagues and for the lols, and I think my team, on any particular day, my team has the ability to pump out a nice score. It just haven't had the luck so far this year, except for round 1 was my highest score so far. We've made 15 trades in our round 1 side as the highest. We got the highest score, which is kind of a sad state of affairs, really. Look out for Artie Jones. Karen, he's on the bubble when he comes back. Yep, exactly, Jamie. Exactly what I'm thinking. So Rashenko and Artie Jones potentially next week, maybe the week after. Yeah, Michael, shakes and flex, 30 trades and 3 boosts. Yeah, see, not bad. Keep Dev for a loop. Definitely, if you don't need anybody else and Dev is your loop, yeah, it's always nice to have a loop. The difference between a really big captain score and, just getting unlucky, like, touch every bit of wood I've got in here. I'm going to shove some splinters under my fingernails if it helps. But if Gorn got injured in the first quarter, shoving wood, shoving splinters under my fingernails, touching wood. The and you had a captain straight up on him. That's an absolute disaster. So it's always nice to have a loophole. Yeah, I went out of the way to make sure I've got a loophole just in case this week. My scores are so terrible, I can't go like a 50 captain score or whatever. It'd just be the biggest disaster ever in Supercoach. Jackson Play, yep. Sorry, I'm very good at reading before I actually click on what you say. Like I'm delayed. It's not that you guys are delayed. I'm delayed. We looked at your team, Michael, did we not? So we did look at your team, did we not, Michael? Maybe we didn't. That's not you in chat. As your specialist loop player. So that's not you then, Michael, the team that we looked at there. Nope. Okay, cool. All right. Go to leagues, go to rivals. Why doesn't it just bring it? Yeah, here we go. All right. There you go. Here you go, buddy. Sinclair, Whitfield, yep, you can see it. Sinclair, Whitfield, Roberts, Houston, Sarong, Blameers. You got the Sarong there. Hopefully he's on the field for you, mate. Lindsay and Selwood, very nice. The Butters, the Bont, the Petrarca in Sarong. Hopefully Sarong does a little bit better. The Walsh, Bruin, Grill, Murdoch. Lindsay out this week. You got to loop through Lindsay if you haven't already gotten rid of him, which is nice. Or depending, I think he plays. Oh no, I think they play on Saturday, don't they? Gorn, McAndrew, Reeves. You still got Reeves. Very nice. Sheasel, Jarks, Flanders, Cook, Philippou, Marshall, Robertson, Lombard. And I discovered you can click down here. And Lockie Jake's down the bottom there. Yep, nice, Michael. 158 came back. 30 trades and 3 boosts is a lot. So, yeah, I think against most people, that is a lot. So, if that's after what you've done this week, that's a lot. So you're in a very good situation, mate. Your team looks nice. Your team looks good. Forward line needs a bit of work, but you can get there the next few weeks. You got solid rookies in the back line, and you've got a solid midfield. Yep. Seems so. Like that's what I'm looking at teams like yours, and I'm thinking both our teams could have a big score on any day. It's just a matter of when that day is going to be. And you're going to need a little bit of luck for all the premiums to go off and a few of the rookies to score well as well. So you've already had a decent start with Sarong getting you 90. So hopefully the rest of your rookies will pay off for you, buddy. Keep your eyes on Blameers just in case he is named. I'd probably still want Lindsay on the field over Blameers just because he's taken the kick-ins. Jamie says I've used all my boosts, all of them, Jamie. Trying to fix your initial team, lol. Yep. This your first time, yeah, but you learned so much already in 6 rounds, yeah. It's never ideal to use Jamie, one thing you should really know is this has been the worst year ever for injuries to primos, and that's why the boosts are there. The boosts are there to fix your team up, and especially near the beginning. It's nice to save a couple to upgrade and potentially one for in the buys. It's actually very useful. Like you already get 3 trades during the buys, but having a boost and be able to get 4 trades can be very useful. Like you can go, 3 down, potentially 4 down and 3 up and a rookie or something like that, or 2 up and 2 down. It gives you lots of options, but this year it's just been brutal. For the actual high percentage, top of the line players, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this year when it comes to injuries or suspensions or just highly owned players and players that just like everybody has. It's been brutal. It really, really has. And a lot of us, the things like getting Sherry in and then getting injured. And I got Graham Myers in and then he got injured. Things like, appendix for Noah Anderson, all those type of things. Usually you get a couple of those in a year. You don't get one every single round, at least one. Some people had as many as 5 people injured last week. So, it's kind of crazy, mate. This year's kind of been a crazy year when it comes to injuries and trades. Hey, Tiger Matty, how are you? Yes, this is the Supercoach season of carnage. That is, we were just discussing. It is the Supercoach season of carnage. Never seen anything like it in all my years of playing Supercoach. Definitely, this is my worst ranking at this point of the season ever. And it's probably the most trades I've used at this point of the season ever. And it's the most injuries I've had in the season ever. And it's probably the least I've liked my team. I still always enjoy Supercoach, but it's been a bit brutal this year. Thankfully, I've got you guys and girls to keep me occupied and have a chat with and whatever, which makes my life a little bit happier and a little bit easier. And speaking of which, if you're watching now, it's the time to like. If you're watching, doesn't hurt, like. If you're watching it in the future, like the video. But there are 28 people apparently watching now. So if you would all like right now, that would make Seano happier. He would stop thinking about Supercoach and just, think about how many likes he's got. Not around 200 this year, Maddie. I think there's a chance for a lot of us, Maddie, to be back next year. I'm already thinking about next year. I haven't written this year off. Like I said, I still really like my leagues, and I lost for the first time in my league. If we go to my leagues for a little bit, we still got people's teams to catch up with. Mongrels. We're going to do Mongrels first, and then we can have a chat about my leagues. Don't forget, crew, to get your team in to Discord. We can do it, or you can pretty much tell me in chat, and I can look it up that way if you would like. So, Mongrels, do you happen to be here in chat? If you are, make yourself known. He's got Sinclair, Whitfield, Roberts, Worrell. I like Worrell's price, but I'm still a little bit worried about his role when the other boys come back. But I don't know. If I can't afford Worrell next week, it might be a godsend, because I got a feeling when later on the season, when all his mates get back there, which take the kick-ins, his scores might drop a little bit, and then I won't have the trades to get him back out. You got Dacos like me. Hopefully he picks it up this week. Lindsay, Selwood, Perez. I don't think Dacos will be playing in the midfield now they've got Angry Anderson, and they don't seem to want him in that midfield there, even after saying they want him in the midfield. Typical coaching BS. Butters, Bont, Dacos, Walsh, Will Ashcroft. Could be very cheap soon. Anyone interested in Will Ashcroft if he drops down to like 450 or something like that? Tanner Bruin, Farrow, Murdoch, Grill, Robertson, and Anderson. Very nice. Gorn and McAndrew with Reedy on the bench. Well, Reedy's going to play this week, so good for you. I think he's going to get crushed, but at least he's going to play. But I think he's going to get destroyed, but at least he's going to play. So, is he not too sure if he's already played one match, potentially make you some money. It would be nice. Shields, Petrarca, Rochelle. He's another one that I worry. I did go through, I think it was last week on the Thursday, where I went through all the forward options, and I said that I don't really trust Rochelle, and I don't trust Connor McDonald, and I don't really trust, and we went through a few others. And again, he got a low score, and it's kind of what I'm worried about. I think it could get worse. I think Rankedy might get some more CBAs in the future, and take some of his CBAs. So I don't know. I think it's fine pick, but I don't know if I'd be buying into him now. I think if you've got him already, cool, stick with him. If you have choices of buying forwards now, I don't know if I'd be buying him now. Got Sardis, Cook, and Marshall with Lombard and Murray. So his team looks very good. I still wonder about Sardis. Like, if Sardis comes out and scores 100 this week, it's another big miss from me. But if he gets to 60, it's a win. Mongrel says he's got 25 trades as well left, so same as me, but yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad. Karen, you can't imagine playing football after an operation with a broken finger like Sheasel. Yep, and Anderson is back this week after 1 week off. If you're the opposition, would you say tackle him hard? Okay, Michael asks a question, chat. What do you guys in chat reckon here? Will Jason Horne-Francis be a top 6 forward? Be a top. The question is, and my question is also, how come I've only got 12 likes when I went and begged the 28 of you for likes? You must all be like lurking. Lurking is fine. But can you like and lurk at the same time? That would be nice. Don't forget, it helps me out. The more people are like, the more Seano stops talking. Could be something. He could be, Michael. He could be. He's got a big ceiling. I think he is injury prone, which is my worry. I got a feeling. Let's have a look. Who are the top forwards at the moment? Who are the top forwards at the moment? Top forwards by average. Petrarca and Sheasel, I think. We won't count Cadman because he's a key forward and he'll drop out. So I think Sheasel, Petrarca, and Pickett are pretty much locked in there. I think Tracy will be... I think Miller is very close to being in there as well. So those four, I got a good feeling that they're going to be in there. Then I think there's a lot of people going to be around the outside, around from, so what's that? Is that 4 or 5? That's 4. And then I think you can throw a blanket over Tracy. It's going to be up and down. He might finish close to the, in the top 10, but he's going to have games where he gets 60 and stuff. So he's just a key forward. We saw he's getting a huge amount of CBAs. Once Goulden and Heaney are back in the team, that might drop off a bit for him at the back half of the season. So I think he may drop down a little bit, Justin. Zach Bailey, I think, will be very close. He'll be around there. Again, he'll be up and down a little bit, but I think he'll be very close. Jason Horne-Francis, again, I think he'll be in that 4 to 12, between 4 or 5 to 12 mark. Shea Bolton, I wouldn't be surprised if he drops off quite a bit. Rochelle, I think, again, 4 to 12. And I think Murphy Reed, maybe. Connor McDonald, no, I don't think he will be in the end. Chad Warner, it'll probably be around there, but not close enough. So in the top 6, I think he's a chance. If he stays uninjured, I think he's a chance. And he's one that, I have to admit, is one that I am looking at him just because of his midfield time. If we do the CBAs for them, so for Port, Jason Horne-Francis, 60 last week, which he's only done 60 one other week. So Jack Watkins took some away from him in this round, in round 4, and then then he dropped down a little bit, and Jason Horne-Francis got some more, and then he disappeared. When Jack Watkins disappeared, and we don't really think he's coming back, do we? Jason Horne-Francis got 60 CBAs, and I think if he could continue to get 60% CBAs a game, I think he's a good chance of being top 6. And he's certainly someone, I'd have to admit, I did look at him this week. He scares the living bejesus out of me because I traded him in and then traded him out last year, like a lot of us did. But, I think if he holds this scoring, let's actually go and have a look. Let's bring him up. So at 60% CBAs last week, he got a 126. let's go through and see. Here he gets an 87 with 60%. Here he's got 50% and he got a 147, but he kicked 3 goals. So he's not going to kick 3 goals every week. So take it out. Let's go back to last year. He gets a 112 with a 63%. 58%, pretty close, 85. 66% gets an 83. 81% CBA is 89. 59, 77, 73. Then he's got another 70, 70. So if we include all the rounds in 2025 where he got more than 60% or very close to 60% CBAs, he's going at a 103 average. And I think that does make him a top 6 or very, very close to being a top 6 mid. The question is, who was taking the CBAs off him last year? So Drew's in there, Ollie Wines is there, Zach Butters is in there. Connor Rosie, we know he's going to play back. We'll assume when he comes back. So if we go back to 2025, who was stealing CBAs off him? Miles Bergman stole some off him down here. It looks like he was out. Looks like he probably didn't play. This is when he got injured. We all traded him in and then he got injured. Connor Rosie took some off him, but we know he's going to play back. I think he's a pretty good shout. What do you guys reckon? Jamie, if I looked at your ranking, it's 101k. Still time, mate. I have confidence in my team. This might sound crazy with somebody. Let's show it. Let's show the embarrassing. The content creator that has the worst ranking out of everybody. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the worst out of all the content creators. Do it with pride, Seano. Show your disgusting ranking with pride. 66,024. And I know one content creator has worse ranking than me, but he has about an extra team's worth, about an extra 400k more than mine. So he's pretty much got a primo sitting on the bench. But, yeah. So what we talked about before I decided to embarrass myself. Oh, I still have confidence that I can drag this up into the top 10%. I'm ranked in the top 36% now. I still believe, so top 10% is 18,000-ish. I still think I could finish in the top 18,000. I just need to stop having things like having primos get injured like Brian Myers and having them to sit on the bench, and having people like Josh Dacos get me 75. I need a few 2,000. I think if you can get a few rounds where you get 2,250 or more in a row, you'll jump a lot of ranks. Like if I got a 2,250 this week and then a 2,300 the week after, and then like another 2,200 the week after that or something, I'm pretty sure that all of a sudden I would jump 20, 30, 40,000 places pretty easy. At the same as if I dropped another 20,000 or 2,000 or 2,100, I'm sure I would drop 10,000 places as well. It is a bit of luck involved, crew, but, there's a bit of planning and a bit of luck, but you can't plan for the injuries we've had this year. My biggest downfall was the misconception of how the early buys would matter. They mattered a lot more than what I thought. I didn't think they would matter as much, but they mattered a lot more than what I thought. And the new rules, like if I had just had started with Gawn and Grundy and, started with Butters and Bont and gone Gawn and Grundy and then gone everybody else pretty much, Sheasel and Sinclair and everybody else like value or rookies. It would have been in dreamland, right? No Goulden, started LDU like I said it would, started Steele. Yeah, hindsight is awesome though, but all right, let's catch up on chat. Murdoch is predicted to make another 140k in the next 3 weeks. He is, and like I spoke about, I don't even want to sell Murdoch. I'm hoping that when the buys come around, he's going to get DPP for the forward. He may be my 6th forward for a long time. If I fill this forward position where Philippou is this week with potentially like we talked about Miller, but it could be a Jason Horn-Francis if, You know, they're both round 12, so I can only have one of them. And at the moment, those two, besides, like we talked about, the risk of Jason Horne-Francis and his injuries, I like his role the best. I like his role the best out of all of them. And I think he has a potential for a high ceiling. Like, I think Jason Horne-Francis can smack out a 150. He just doesn't do it very often, but I think he can smack out a 150. I also think he could probably do 2 hammies, a collarbone, and an ankle all in the same game. So Murdoch for me, yes, he'll be a great cash cow, but for the moment, I'm hoping he's going to be a reasonable on-field scorer to share up either my defense, either my forward line or my midfield. Yeah, hopefully Murdoch's down here and Marshall is up there, and then I can grab some 500 to 550k midfielders. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but I think you've done a hammy already. Yeah, I think I did several hammies, Maddie. Jamie says he thinks he did an ACL in the first round. Yeah, I think it was a hard year this year, not just because of the injuries, but because of the uncertainty of the rules as well. I think, and round 0, just pray there's no round 0 next year. I think we kind of know next year, though. The problem next year is, though, there'll be a round 0 again, and we won't have options like LDU or Shield or whatever, and we're not going to know what to do. So, but at least we'll have an idea. And I still don't think there was an issue with getting Bont, even though he went down at 700k, or Gawn, who's going to go down as well. If you started with these players at 700k, I think it's fine. The people who bought into them, like me, yeah, I think that maybe if you didn't buy them at the beginning, or if you had them from, I had it from pretty early, that's fine. But if you only got him like last week or something, you'd be pretty disappointed. I still want him in my team. Like, look what he did this week, but you know, and Gawn as well. It really would have been next year. For the next years, you just start the big dogs. You start the big dogs and you build a team around them. And it doesn't matter about the ruck rules or whatever. You just buy the good rucks. Ruck and lock. Hey, Jack Blucher, how are you? Petrarca to Myers. Ooh, yeah, you're in the same bucket as me, mate. I didn't go Petrarca to Myers, but I went to Myers. And you wish you didn't we all? Pickett would have been the play this week. Went to McHenry and again another 70 score. Worst Supercoach year ever, 50k. You're still in front of me, mate. So take that. That doesn't mean much, but that's still something. I think a lot of, if anything, like a lot of coaches, like Tiger Matty here was in the top couple of hundred, and he's at 32,000. So, if it wasn't for the captain when Sherry had his 199, it'd be a lot worse. Exactly. And like I said earlier on, Gawn held me up last season. Gawn came out and smashed some huge scores like that early on. I had the captain on him every time. And that really helped me get my very high ranking last year. So a couple of good captain scores makes all the difference. So, and a bit of luck, like not getting in Myers. If I had got in any other primo but Myers, you know, I would have had an extra primo on the field. You know, if I had not gone Dacos and gone someone else. But yeah, like we say, it's hindsight. You can't. At the time, you make the best decisions that you can with the information that you have, and you have to live. You have to live by those decisions. The same as life. Team's in a lot of trouble, but you do take 151 off Grundy, or wait for Gorney. I said, Tiger Matty, I already said, if you took that, don't be crazy. Yeah, don't be crazy. Don't be doing crazy stuff, especially in a year like this with so many injuries. 120 plus is probably enough this year. Just lock your captains in. The only time I advocate doing that is if you're in a league match and you know leagues mean a lot to you like me and you know you're going to lose. So say, for example, I know my league. I know Joanne. I know the young Joanne has got her 151 from Grundy. So she got a 302. If Gawn gets a 110, a 120, and I know I'm going to lose by, 50 points or something, it could be worth me taking a swing at someone else. Like, I think Nick Dacos is going to be my fallback. In the Anzac Day, Nick Dacos. Surely Nick Dacos goes huge in Anzac Day, right? Surely he goes huge in this match. He always steps up in the big matches, and God, he looked good in that last quarter last week. He was everywhere. He basically put the game on his back and won the game, and I think he was I kind of think he was underscored last week. He got, what was it, 150? 140. He basically won the game, or he put the game on his back. No, did they win? Did they win or did they lose? They won, right, in the end? And also, Christian Petrarca was robbed last week. I don't know about you guys. 3 goals, like 25 possessions. He gets 100. He was absolutely robbed. Story of your season, mate. Yeah, I think a lot of us, Matty, have just had that bad stuff. So that's the only time I would advocate in taking a swing after. If you got 120, if you're going for overall rank, you should always take 120 plus. Even sometimes if you're really worried about even 115, sometimes it can be worth locking it in just in case. There's always an injury. There's always something bad happens. But usually I think 120, unless I'm really iffy about the other matchup. Yeah, my commiserations, Tiger Matty, with the captain on ZZ and Vice on Grundy went out for the day. Yeah, quite a lot. I heard quite a lot of those stories. They were like, Seano, what are you whinging about? This is what I did. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Pretty rough indeed. Put him in the frying pan with Chris Scott. Put him in the frying pan for late decisions and not telling us no with Chris Scott. 17th. Yeah, I have to admit, Tiger, my league, usually we're all right up there. Usually we're all right, and like my 13 mates who play regularly, at least 10 of us, and especially 5 or 6 of us are really big into it. And we're normally all right up there, and nobody is this year. Like the best, who's doing the best in my leagues this year? Like, no, everybody is having a bad year this year. Like the league's nowhere near as high as what yours is, but everyone's usually the top 10%. So the points scored, this guy, I don't even know this guy. This is a random dude who's in, so we can't count him. But Mark, I know Mark, he's a good friend of mine. 19,000 out of all my friends. That's the dude doing the best. And we're like, this is a shocker. Like I had one guy who was in the top 500 last year. I was in the top 2,000 for a while. There were a few of us who were right up there. And this year's just been a real stinker for a lot of people. So I'm not too down. Obviously, being my second year of content creating, it would be nice if we have a nice big score and we would maybe get more likes on my video and I wouldn't have to beg so much like I'm begging now to like the video, click the thing, click the like, do the thing, as the old people say like me, do the thing, people, do the thing. Mass, yep, we didn't have a look at you yet, did we? Sorry, Mass, I get distracted, old man, I start rambling about shit. I should... leagues. You're having a good season, aren't you? Yeah, I've seen you around. So overall, 1,362. Very nice, Shorty. Very, very nice, Mass. This is a very good score. Your team, and see, the funny thing is when I look at your team, it doesn't look that different to mine. But you obviously, you got the 2 big rucks here. So there's certain things that you've got really going for you. You got a very good-looking midfield. Unfortunately, Heaney out this week kind of sucks for you. Sinclair, Clark, Sarong. Hopefully, you got the 90. You have got the 90, obviously. Farrow, Jacks, Lindsay. Very nice. Perez, I feel sorry for everyone who got Perez in last week. I'm glad I missed that bullet. Heaney, Butters, Bont, Dacos, and Steele. That looks, and Walsh gone fairly deep in the midfield, which is nice. Bruno Murdoch. You still got Smith, Grill, and Blamiers, very nice. You got Grundy and Gorn, which I noticed down here in your flex, so that's also very nice. So you got McAndrew. Obviously, you missed McAndrew's score. Was that last week? Or you're getting him this week? Don't let the same thing happen again if ZZ is named late. She's Pickett, Flanders, Cook, Phillip. I really regret missing Cook and Marshall. Yeah, very nice, mate. You're plodding along very, very well. Your team looks in a very good position going forward. I'm not too sure how many trades and how much money you've got, but it looks in a good position moving forward. I like the look of your midfield. You've got some good rookies there in the back. You're set in a good spot for just snapping up some bargains, I think, and really improving on that score. Excuse me, slurping in the microphone. Karen, you think you're getting, let me click first. Thinking of getting, clicking is working. Yep. Thinking of getting Pickett in a few weeks. Just need the dollars. Not much in the kitty. Yeah, but you got, like we said, we got some downgrade options. I think sometimes this time of year when you want to upgrade, you don't even get any downgrade options. This year we got Richenko if he plays next week. Potentially Artie Jones next week or the week after. Potentially coming from the Richmond as well. He's a little bit more expensive, but big-bodied midfielder. I don't know how long he will stay in with, because Taranto was out this week, I believe. And I think that might be the reason he's coming in. Samuel is coming for all you dirty-minded people out there. So at 176K, but, highly touted rookie. Apparently, has he been smashing in the VFL? Let's see how he's going in the VFL. I know in his junior leagues he was very good. Maybe not. That's all the data we've got on him. 50 fantasy points. Maybe not. I know he has very well in his lower. Yeah, look at the stretch of scores in the lower leagues. He's got a 130, 131, 117. These are fantasy scores. He's gone on a stretch of like over hundreds here in the juniors with high possessions. So I think he's potential, he's got potential. So I think that's good. But I believe he's probably only in the team because let's have a look. Who's out for Richmond? Outs. Oh no, they brought Hopper in and they brought him in. Taranto's out. So you think Hopper's taking Taranto's position? I assume he's named on the bench. No, he's not named on the bench. He's named as a half forward. Okay, he's named as a half forward. Probably not his position, so we'll have to see how he goes. If he plays as a half forward, he's probably not going to score very much. But if he gets a bit of a run through the mids, we'll have to see how Rishenko and Cumming will go. I got a feel they're going to be the type of rookies that hopefully they're going to stay in the team for a while, but they could just get them and drop out like a Perez. So, hopefully we get them for a little while. The very first time you've joined a draft league and have not much clue what you're doing. Maddie, I really like the draft. Like someone like you would probably be really good at the draft. It's more about especially if you're doing a bit of preseason research and watching, a few content creators and stuff. I think the most important thing in the draft is not to know who the best players are. It's who to know who the bargains and who the breakouts are when you get lower, especially if you're in drafts with a lot of people. Sometimes you can be scraping the bottom of the barrel when you get down to, down to your 10th pick or your 11th pick or your 12th pick, whatever it might be. And then I think knowing that, like it wouldn't have worked out this year, but I know I've got Hayden Young in one of my leagues. And obviously everyone kind of had their eyes on Hayden Young, and he didn't play and all that business. But now he's coming to play and I've got him. And things like Treloar, I've got Treloar in some leagues. So I think it helps if you have that knowledge. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're, actually going to be very good. And the other thing is snapping up in the leagues the free agents. Every week I go through the drafts. I go through my team and I just look who's available. Because some people do some silly things, Tiger. Like I tell you, some dude, hopefully this is not you when I say it. So some guy dropped Matt Rowell at the beginning of the season. And I was like, I know I have to wait about 4 weeks until Matt Rowell plays, but I'm taking him now and I'm going to stick him on the bench and I'm going to have somebody else play because I know at the back half of the season, Matt Rowell's going to be a gun. And so that's the other thing. You need to hold on to the primos, and you shouldn't really be dumping them unless they're injured for the whole season. But these guys, like a miss I picked up a couple of weeks ago, particularly for the Eagles match. I picked him up for the Eagles match and he scored 112. And this week I'm just chucking him on the bench because he'd probably score a 60 or a 70 again. And I had Koning, but he's been doing very good. I don't know whether I should run Koning or Madden on the field, but I really like the draft. I find it tests your knowledge of the players and it gives you something else. You can pretty much trade in your draft every week if you wanted to. I don't advise it, but yeah. So every week I go through and I will have a look. See, I picked up Nank as well. Someone dropped Nank. Nank's going to be back in round 10 and 11, and he's a top tier ruck. So if I have to run McAndrew and Madden until a Nank comes back, well, so be it. I really like the draft. I think every year I probably do at least 4 or 5 drafts. I like the picking of them is fun, and then going through the season. I mean, it kind of takes your mind off the Supercoach too as well. If the Supercoach is not going well, you can jump on the draft and the draft teams and see how you're going. And I'm not doing the best, but I'm not doing the worst either. I'm pretty much in the middle of my draft leagues this year. First draft league. I got you. First draft league. Yeah, but yep. So are you enjoying it, Maddie? Are you saying you don't know, but did you enjoy it? What's is your team? Do you know which one it is? Let's have a look. Do you know which league? As you can see, I'm in quite a few of them. Seano Draft 1. That's my leagues. Bojangles. That's you, isn't it? Bojangles. Mass, your team hadn't updated. Yeah, it doesn't. That's why it's better to put it in Discord, Mass, because it won't update until the end of the round when I do that. Traded Bruin, Sarong, Jacks for Whitfield. For Sardis, Anderson. Next week, 3 times 300k players, 2 primos. Ash. Are we still thinking the Nasai is going to be a good pick? Petrarca, Miller, and a rookie. I thought you meant you're getting all 4. I didn't know how you're going to work that out. But yeah. Is the Messiah still going to be a good pick? Does anyone else do a 3 or 4 week plan only to have an injury or rookie pop up? Your plan stuffed? Yes, Jamie. You've seen my nerd plan, right? Like I've got enough space to do the week. These are both for next week, but I can go down to the week after, a couple of weeks in advance to kind of plan what's going on. This year, every time we made a plan, a guy got injured. Someone got injured. Don't get, Maddie says, don't, Karen don't get Pickett this week, if you don't get Pickett this week, Karen, don't get next week, as you'll get tagged the following week as he has West Coast and will go nuts. Think he carves up the Tigers tomorrow. I hope so, because I've got him. Karen, I looked at the new Tigers, but they are mids, and you like your mids and not looking to change them. You're looking for 99k forwards. There's not going to be too many of those around. The only forward is that Artie Jones. Yeah. Get Smiley on the park. Watch out for him. Yep, he actually scored a good tour and had a decent score. You couldn't give me Harley Reid for free, Mass. As an Eagles supporter, I'm trying to get rid of Harley Reid. I don't want him back. So Anderson owes me too much, so I don't think I can get rid of him. And like I said, I'm not confident on Rochelle, so I don't think I'd be making those trades. Bojangles FC. So this you got Whitfield, McAndrew, who we were hoping going to play that ruck. I had Rivers for a while and I sold him. Probably shouldn't when he comes back. McGovern, I think, is a decent pick. However you say his name. Pryor, Miller, Reeves, Madden. You got Madden like me and Butters, Walsh, Cripps, Ross, Murdoch. That was nice for you last week. Blickash, you got yourself a ruck. Tracy Neal, Prestia, Tremba. I mean, it seems fine, mate. Kitty Coleman. My theory when doing drafts is always get a couple of big guys. Like you got Butters, which is nice. You got Whitfield's good. You pretty much want a couple of big. You want always going to get a ruck. So I usually do a midfielder, then one of the best rucks if I can, and then I'll get the best midfielder possible for next, who could potentially get me peak scores, and then I'll have a look who's available out of mids and forwards, and if there's still a gun mid, like a back available, like a Whitfield, I'll grab a Whitfield. If he's gone, if there's nobody I like, I'll let it go, and then usually the midfielders go a bit deeper, so then I might try and grab another gun defender or gun forward and try and do it that way. You really want to concentrate on having some guys that can put out some big scores, are capable of doing big scores, but, and then, like, you don't have to worry. I usually concentrate on forwards last because there's not too many which can put out those big scores, unless you're getting, once you miss Sheasel and you miss Petrarca, well then, what's the difference between getting Rochelle or, Connor McDonald or whatever? Not much. So as opposed to, if you miss out on Whitfield, you still might be able to get a Jordan Clark or something like that in the second or third round. Sorry if the draft talk is boring, everybody, but I do really like draft. Jamie, yep, no worries. So the drafts went really well this year. Thank you for everyone who participated in the drafts. We got quite a few. How many did we get in the end? We had I've got 1, 2. We had 3 from all you crew on YouTube, which was one. I think I opened it up to the public too, and this is one that I just joined because I like draft, just randomly joined. But I'll definitely do drafts again next year for anyone's interested. I think it adds a bit of that extra fun if you're a bit of a Supercoach nut, like I think that most of us are here. If you're here watching me, you're probably a nut. There wouldn't be much other reason for watching me. Or a Supercoach nut at least. So I think they're a bit fun. And the other ones I made them public, but this is the only private one I made because in the public ones, you can't have captains, and I think captains always makes things a little bit more interesting. And I try to make it reasonably fair when I set up drafts, compared to not some people. I won't say some people don't make it fair, but you can do like the buy rounds where it's like best A team, but you pick how many players it is. So I often will pick, about half the team. I think about 10 players, I think, on some of these. This one, I think it's 10 players count for the league, and I don't account during the buys, and so that way it's not as painful. You don't have to trade out half your team during the buys. I like to play through the buys because otherwise you're missing out on, weeks of playing. But I try to make it a little bit easier by making it just like in the classic that less players are. And if you want to know what that is, I think you need to go to the league rules, wherever they are. Onwards. There's also, Tiger, there's always some content creators that'll put out lists of their league ranking, and I usually always have a good look at those. But the other thing I always like to try to tell people in the drafts is go to the value picks down the bottom and bring them up near the top. You can choose you can adjust what number they are at the beginning, the number you see them, like from 1 to whatever 500 of the players in the league. If there's a player who's a value pick, who say someone's got injured, say we're talking Nick Newman's got injured, hasn't played a whole season, he's going to be down near the bottom at like 300 or something. I'll set a number. I'll say I'll bring them all up and I'll make them at 100. And so from 100 to 120, 30, 40, 50 will be all my value picks. And then I'll know once I've completed all the good players are gone, then the value ones are up the top. You don't need to search down the bottom for them because you might miss. They're right there, in your face, which is, I find that's a nice little trick that I like to do. Jamie, you've turned into a super coach nut. I know, it doesn't take much, buddy. It doesn't take much, and all of a sudden you're a nut like the rest of us. Join the crew. I was going to look. Do I have any videos for nuts? No, not really. We've got this one, which is kind of appropriate to this season.
When I'm in command, every mission's a suicide. But when I'm in command, every mission's a suicide mission.
Kind of related to how I feel about my team at the moment. Yeah, so they're just a few little tips, Tiger, that maybe helps you out next year. Don't worry, we'll go into depth. We might even make a specific video just on drafts in the preseason next year where we go through and give advice and get set up. We might even do we'll set a draft time and then we'll do a live video like that day before it or something like that. So like the hour or two before, what do you think about that? Set up like a draft for like whatever time at night, and then for on a weekend, and then the hour or two before we'll go on live and we'll have a chat about, what our plans are and what we're doing. Your draft stream is loaded. Yeah. So I have to admit, Mass, I don't trade with other people too often unless I get offered something really good. I usually find that, and I'm the same, people don't want to give up good, fair deals. Your deal is actually reasonable. Your deal is actually semi-reasonable. But a lot of people, they're like, hey, we're here. You give me Bontempelli and I'll give you Jagger Smith. And you're like, go and take a flying leap, mate, as if I'm going to do that. And so I have to admit, I don't trade with too many other people. But if someone gives me a really good deal, or sometimes I like to look for people who say someone like you're a bit short on the rucks, Matty. Maybe if I can snag 3 good rucks, say I got, I managed to get like English, Nank, and somebody else like a Grundy or a Jackson or someone, and I know that you've got your Mark Blickass as a ruck, I might say, well, I'll give you an English for, a prime midfielder and see if you're willing to take that. But otherwise, yeah, I think just like people doing it to me, I'm probably a little bit, I know who I want and they know they're declined most of the time. I don't know. I think I've only ever done a trade with other people. I do drafts every year and multiple of them, and I think I've only ever traded with people like 2 or 3 times. You playing me this week, Mass? Ooh. In which one? In which draft? In which draft? Because you learn about it, yeah. You're still better than me. I've been playing since it started, Tog Matty, and I still don't. I've been. I think I was in the top 200 once for 5 minutes before I dropped off. Are you talking? Oh, Mash, you're playing Bojangles this week. These two. There you go. It's not too far out, boys. It's not too far out. Oh, except for you got the captain on Grundy. Oh, that's a bit rough. That's a rough start, Matthew. Ouch. Langford, Petrarca, McGrath, Sardis. Yeah, I picked up Sardis in a few of my leagues as well. See, they're sneaky little things too. If you see a good, a good rookie comes along, sweet friends, Marshall, Worrell, Rochelle, Wilmot, LDU, and Zerha. So you picked up both. You snapped up Zerha and Sardis just in case their roles hold, which is smart, Shorty. Obviously, you've done it. You've done before. Heaney on the bench, Waterman, Reed. Yeah, your team is pretty stacked. Your team is pretty stacked, mate. Anything can happen, but yeah, you probably, especially, when you get a start like that, when you don't have as many players to drag them back in, it's pretty hard to lose, really. When you get a start of a captain score like a 300, it's pretty hard to lose. How are we doing on the likes side of thing, crew? We still got people watching? We're getting there, 15. There's still 22 people watching, but we're on 15 likes. What's the time? 10 o'clock. Okay, not too bad. Did we get through everybody's team? We did. Nobody else wants to look at their team up on the screen? What else we got to talk about? I kind of wish we knew about these two already. Going to be frantic for me trading tomorrow or reversing trades if things go wrong. Question is 69, get your minds out of the gutter, is 69 a score enough to take on field? Or if Lemire's is out, do I want Jake's 69? Do I want to have a 69 with Jake's? Or do I want to roll the dice on Farrow and see if Farrow can score me better than a 69? Jamie says 16 now. About the video, that'd be good because you want to learn about it, Jamie. Yeah, okay, we'll do that next year. Remind me when we're doing the mid-season info next year. If you guys aren't sick of me by then about doing the video for the draft, and then we'll do a draft afterwards. Is 69 enough? Is 69 good enough for Seano is the question. This just the jokes that keep on coming. It's the score that keeps on giving. Anyways, down here, that's a good start. Yeah, VC Grundy, Bont played well, kept Sarong. So you've done the best you possibly could to start off with. I mean, I'm happy Bont got a good score. He got a 135. I didn't have the vice captain on him or anything, which is kind of good because otherwise if I had the vice captain on Bont at 135, then I would have had a debate because of my league match whether I needed to take it or not. And pretty sure I would have taken it. But yeah, I think I'm hoping for a good week. This is going to be the downfall of everything. I'm mildly optimistic about this week. I think this is where you can't clip videos, but this is the point where, if you could you clip the video now and play this back to me next week when I get a 2050 and say, remember when you were mildly optimistic, Seano? Remember that time when it was Thursday night and you were mildly optimistic about the score of your team? Well, here's Sunday. Look what happened. You have to decide between Blamiers and okay. If Blamiers is in, you have to decide between him and Jagger Smith. Lord back in on field. If he is dropped, you can loop with Angry Anderson and Smith. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting to. We've got to wait, but I kind of wish the times. This is why the Thursday guy, I like watching 40 on Thursday night, but it really screws over the super coaches. Really screws over super coaches. I heard a rumor. I don't know if this is what they're going to do, but someone was talking about instead of being round zero next year, they just have games over for full 2 weeks, run the first round over 2 weeks. God, that'll be the biggest nightmare for Supercoach ever. You won't know what rookies to lock in and what rookies won't to lock in. Yep. Anyway, that's something for next year to think about. $69 might be the lowest score I have. Yeah, it's not so much that is true. One score does drop off. Hopefully 69 is. If 69 is the lowest score, I'll be a very happy man. I'm just wondering do I think Blamiers will score more than 69? Or do I think Farrow is a question? Do I think Farrow, I guess, will score more than 69? I feel like Essendon came out and said and did that. Did anyone else see that? So for 2 weeks, Essendon played that kick mark around their back line, and Archie Roberts scored 1,000,000 points, and Farrow scored 1,000,000 points, and all their backmen scored 1,000,000 points. And then last week, the coach actually came out and said, we're not going to play like that every week. We don't have to play like that. And they didn't 100% play like that. They played parts of the game like that last week, but the whole game wasn't that kick and control. It was a little bit more free-flowing game. And I reckon that's why Farrow scored less last week, because they weren't just kicking it around in the back line. So these 2 weeks, the 90 and the 100 is where they just kicked it around. And last week it was a little bit more free-flowing. And they're up against Collingwood this week in the Anzac Day match. He had a quiet week, Karen. Yeah, that's why I think he had a quiet week, though, because Essendon's game plan wasn't the same as much the whole game as what it was the 2 weeks before. And it's the same way Archie Roberts had a down week. Archie Roberts only got 100. I know, down week you only get 100. That's the kind of dream for my players, but after getting a 1, so the 2 weeks before where they played the kick mark, and they did very well in that second half with the Bulldogs, and they beat Melbourne. So you got a 136 and a 145. And then last week they freed it up a little bit, and he only got 100. Only 100. God, in my dreams, if I could say that about Dacos. So who knows what they're doing, but I just don't know. If they play that kick mark style, I'd give him a shot. But if they don't, he could get me a 49. 49, 61. I guess if he gets a 61, take that 49 out of it. 61's his lowest score if you take the 49 out of it in the last few weeks. And the 49 was his first week in. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll give him a shot to beat the 69. Maybe. Yeah, 28 trades. It's amazing that we keep getting trades every year, and every year I don't really seem to notice, where I used to always have trades at the end, and I don't know how we used to save the trades so much. Even though I have to admit, full primo wasn't really a thing back then, was it? Having a team at full primo at the end of the season is only really a thing, I'd say, in the last 5 years. Before that, it was almost impossible to have a full primo team at the end of the season. You'd be close, but you would still have some mediocre players. I don't know if Pooh can. If he can't against the Eagles, Mass, I think it's to the slaughterhouse for Pooh. Actually, for me though, unless our mate Archie Jones comes in, it is Archie Jones, I think. I need a bit of DPP action. So especially when the buys come, if I've got Tuke Miller, I don't want to have Sheasel, Petrarca, and Tuke Miller all playing around 12 and all on my forward line. I want to be able to get some of these boys up into the midfield. So Philippou could find himself in the midfield, just sitting on my bench, hoping that he gets a decent game, plays a decent game later on. I don't like him being on my field either. That's why next week I really hope that it's at least a Tuke Miller or potentially a Jason Horne-Francis in this spot. I can live with Todd Marshall on the field as long as he stays in that back role, but I don't want Philippou on the field. Anyone who can get a 40, I don't want on my field. What's he got? He's gone 66, 27, 42, 69, 69, and 40. So 69 is his favourite number, and he's got it twice, but that's his highest score. Yeah, that's pretty sad considering we all penciled him in for this midfield role that he's got, and he can't seem to score in it. So yeah, I don't like it either. That's why all in Sean's fairyland, where Supercoach worked out for Sean, he would have Brian Myers in this spot. He'd have Brian Myers would be sitting there this week, and he wouldn't be having this problem with the stupid Philippou on his field. I was tempted not to get Whitfield and to shore up the forward line a little bit more with Philippou not on the field, but with my nerd, should we get the nerd out again? Literally within, as you can see, the plan for next week, I might have $1,600 in the bank. This could only, to get both Miller and Worrell in, might I'm cutting it super, super fine. And if I went the other way, if I got Miller this week, I wouldn't be able to afford to forward Worrell. If I went, so I basically have to forego Miller and get Jason Horne-Francis, and I think I want Miller more over Jason Horne-Francis. Even though if they're both in my forward line at the end of the season, I'll probably be happy, and if Jason Horne-Francis is not injured, I'll be even happier. Oh, I love Jock Reynolds, mate. That's my jam. The old Jock Reynolds. He's got a very good second name. I used to always watch Jock Reynolds, and they've still got Patch, and occasionally the other gentlemen who still do a bit of content on some of the other boys' channels. But yeah, I used to watch listen to Jock Reynolds every week. Karen Farrow's on your field. Yeah, I think could be reasonable. That's why I'm just going to decide whether he's better than a 69 or not. But I think he could be. I think it's worth. But then Belmiers, he can score reasonable well if he plays, so should be interesting. Hopefully an 80 from Pooh this week. I'll take a 75. Maddie, I'll take a 75 from Pooh this week. Just, something. He's got a break even of 37, so a little bit of money, 80 would be nice. I'll live with a 75. Just don't give me a 40 or a 40. Just don't give me under a 50. Pooh drop. No, I think he's in the extended list. He's on the extended bench. He could be. Let's have a look and see who they're bringing in. So they're bringing in Liam O'Connell, Alex Taru, Angus Hasty, and Dougal Howard. I believe they're mostly all defenders, right? Alex Taru's like a mid defender. Angus Hasty, is he a midfielder? They're all named on the bench. So, I mean, there's always the chance that he does get dropped. Hopefully not. He needs to make us some money. This is the 1 week where he's got a chance to make us some money. And if he got dropped, wouldn't be happy. Jamie, you're hoping that Artie Jones is 2 weeks away. It works in your plan. Yeah. If he's 2 weeks away, then I don't have to use a boost. If he's 1 week away, I probably have to use a boost. And I probably don't get the 2 primos that I want. I have to bring in Roshenko and Jones, and I don't get to bring in a primo. But like I said, I think the price, I only really want Worrell because of the price. Predicted break even at 129. Say he has a good game. Say, he's gone 116, 123, 97, 120. Let's give him 110. He goes down 7.9K. He's less than 500K for a dude who's pretty much averaging 100. Do I particularly want to get 2 round 12 players into my team, especially considering the dude who I'm playing in the leagues only has 3 at the moment for round 12? I'm pretty much giving up that league match, and I don't want to do that. So I still might hold off from getting Josh Worrell. And so if I hold off from getting Josh Worrell, I might do something even more, slightly more crazy and risky, which is in a couple of weeks' time, somebody will be back potentially around 8 to 9. Say Mr. Zorko comes back and plays in, well, we know he's not going to be there in round 7, but say when he does come back, let's give him a 105 and like a 115. Be nice to him. So he'll be down at about 470. So am I going to be able to refuse Zorko? This is why I want to leave 1 spot in the back line and 1 spot in the forward line free, just in case someone like a Zorko comes along. If Zorko, say he has a bad couple of games, say he gets a 95 and 100, he'll be at 450. Now, I don't know if I could resist a player who's at 450 who can score 130s, and potentially uninjured can be a top 6 defender. I don't think I can refuse that. So, so I can wait. But that means if I wait, I have to hold on to that chocolate fireman Houston. I don't really want to hold on to the chocolate fireman Houston. If Houston just, by some miracle, get me like 110 this week, just pull something out of your backside and get me 110 and make it, for all of us in the community who got you, make it worth our while, Make it worth our while that we got you. And Dacos, if you'd like to have a big game as well on Anzac Day, that would be welcome as well. And if Parrish has a big game, I'm going to throw up all over my microphone. Just saying, I'm going to need to clean the microphone because Seano's not going to be a happy man. How we going, crew? We've still got 21 people watching. So, hit that like button. We're not up to 21 likes yet. So, we've still only got 15. That means there's 6 people out there aren't liking. They're watching me and they're thinking I'm not liking this, which is possible. Probably highly likely. No, you think Ross will definitely play him Andrew against West Coast. Philippou. Yep. Marshall to Treloar in 2 weeks' time. Keep an eye on Treloar, Andrew. Keep an eye on him. You want to see time on ground to come up a little bit, and you want to see. You kind of hope the Libba does come back next week because you need to see what it looks like when it's got Bont, Richards, Treloar, and Libba in the team. Who's getting the most CBAs? Is there a reduction of time on ground? Are they going to cotton wool Treloar for the entire season? Because if he's only getting 60% time on ground, I don't think you can pick him. But if they're just warming him into it, they're like, hey, it's your first game back. 60%, have a rest. Because like we said, he was on 50 points at halftime. He could have scored 100. But then they the second half, I think they rested him a little bit. Once they started getting flogged, they're like, we're not going to risk you as much. So if we have a look at so we look at his score, Treloar. So yeah, he had 35 points in the first quarter, then 17, then 11, and then 17. So big first quarter and then tapered off. I don't know if they centre bounce attendances. Yeah, so the first 2 quarters, like 5 in the first quarter, 5 in the second quarter, and then down to 3 and then down to 2. So the second half, they really took it easy with him. So if that's just because he's coming back, fine. But if it's because that's how they're going to run, especially because Libba's not going to play anywhere else, right? They're not going to play Libba up forward or anything. Can Treloar play anywhere else either? He's kind of it's kind of a mid or nothing, right? Treloar. If anything, it might mean Bont goes up forward a little bit more. If that happens, then he's probably a buy. If they move Bont up forward for, a little bit more percentage of time, which could be a little bit scary, but, Bont can score goals. He got 2 today, 2 rippers they were. So I'm not super afraid. Bont's one of the midfielders that I don't mind if he goes up forward for a bit. But I even like the role he had today. It was brilliant. That sort of sweeping behind the pack type of role. That's even better. It means he got 29 disposals. I like that role, but I think they probably want him kicking goals more. But that role he had today was brilliant. Basically, get behind the packs, get the ball, and then just follow it all the way up. Liked it. But yeah, anyway, so Treloar, I'll look at Treloar. If Libba comes into the team, he's still got his CBAs and he's still doing all right. But he'll be my D6 if anything. And how much is Treloar? He's only like 300k, right? 311k. So, I mean, if Philippou could get 30 or 40k, it only might be a 50. You might only need 50k to get him. So as a D6, it's probably fine. And that way, actually, I mean, it's kind of desirable. I kind of hope it happens for me because it means I get a cheap D6. Could still have, my Miller or somebody here, and I don't have to move Murdoch down. Murdoch can be a playing midfielder for me for a little bit longer. I hope it works out. I really hope it works out. I think we need to taper our expectations that he's not going to be crushing it. So are you fielding him too? I assume you mean Philippou, Tiger Matty. Yep. Houston gets the Anzac Day medal. I want Essendon to kick 20 points and for Houston to take all the kick-ins. Is that so much to ask? For 2 massive scorings, I don't give a crap if they score 20 goals. Scoreline of 20 goals or 10 goals or whatever it is and 20 points. And Collingwood could do the same down their end if they want. Make it a big, high-scoring, exciting game. And let Houston take all the kick-outs. Am I asking for too much? And put Josh Dacos in the middle for 30 possessions or 40 possessions, whatever he got last time he was in there. Karen, you have no Collingwood players in your team. You didn't get Anderson this week? Karen, you didn't get Angry Anderson? definitely could be a good one, I think. I won't say he's a must-have, but I think he could be a good one. And you'll need Dacos eventually, probably, Karen, if you want to be competitive. But if you haven't got him now, you might as well wait after his bye, I guess. And as we saw with Bont and Gorn, there's always the chance that he gets tagged and gets to like a 70 or 80, and you can pick him up for less than 600K. So don't get him out. Definitely don't go and get Dacos or Houston. That's a big mistake. Hey, David, how are you? You have Ed Richards since the start. Should just hold him. You hold. You can't be trading your primos now, even though I traded out Noah Anderson last week and he's going to be back this week. You've had a bit of a rough ride with Ed Richards, but I'm sure he is one of the better, when he's not playing injured, he's one of the better mids. So I'd say hold. I have to listen to my own advice now, and if I get someone who's injured for less than 3 weeks, I basically going to have to hold them now. Unless you're flush with trades, mate. If you've got over 30 trades, but I think you've probably got bigger issues. He was going okay. Like, he's another one. He was on 50 points at halftime. So what did he end up? Ed Richards ended up on 88. But let's have a look at his scoring. So, yeah, first quarter, 33, then 20, then 14, and then 21. And for CBAs, his CBAs are pretty consistent across the board. So I think you shouldn't be getting rid of him. 18 disposals, kicked a goal, 12 contested, so still something contested in there. What was the time on ground? We can't see it. Time on ground is 79%, so 5 clangers. That's clearances. 4 clangers. That's what hurt him. If he didn't get those clangers, that's another at least 16 points. You get your 100, you're happy, right? So, efficiency is down. Disposal efficiency is down. See, I remembered. DE stands for disposal efficiency. Seano not only learns, but he remembers things occasionally. Not very often, but today we do. I'll forget it by next week. You watch me ask you what it stands for next week. Yeah. So I think he's fine. I think you just keep him. As soon as you sell him, he'll do really well. So you just keep him. Like the people that sold Bont this week. If you sell Bont, they're going to make you pay. If you sell Richards, he'll make you pay. You had Richards trade him out for Heaney. Oh, Jamie, yeah. We got to be more. All of us, including me, have to be more patient with trading out our primos. I guarantee you Noah Anderson goes 110 this week. I traded him out. He's gone 75s for weeks in a row. I guarantee you he goes 110 for at least 2 or 3 weeks, 100 plus for the next few weeks in a row. And then if he does something stupid, goes like 120, 115, and he's like 505K, what do? Do I get him back? Karen says, nope. Don't like the seagull. You don't like Dacos. Fair enough, Karen. Supercoach, and unfortunately, it doesn't matter whether you like him or not in Supercoach. Sometimes you just have to get him. If he makes you unhappy, I understand. But, I guess if it makes your playing of the game more enjoyable, I don't really think of it like that. Like, even though I guess if, like, not that I do, I love the man, but if I didn't like Bontempelli, I'd still get him because he's the best, and people like Gorn and Grundy and that, I still get them because I think they're the best, and it doesn't really bother me about what type. I mean, I traded in Toby Green last year, and I hate Toby Green with a passion, but I thought he was going to be good, and he burnt me anyway. But I guess this year I was like, sometimes it works out for you. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm trading in Harley Reid, and Harley Reid's been pretty average for the people who traded in. But there was scientific reasons. It wasn't just the fact I hated him, it was the fact that he gives away 1 million free kicks every game, which doesn't help. Grundy or Jackson would need to move heaven and earth for Grundy, though. I've gone McAndrew. Grundy or Jackson would need to move heaven and earth for Grundy, though. have Gawn and McAndrew. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. And I think now we've been, someone's told us to take a good hard look at ourselves, slapped us in the face. Someone just walked up to you and given you the old slap in the face and said, listen, look what's happened to Bont and look what's going to happen to Gawn. Even though I would love it if Gawn would get his break even this week. That'd be pretty nice. That would really help me win my league match if Gawn could get his break even. But I don't think he will. And Bont definitely didn't get his break even. He tried very hard, but at 238. So I think you just have to wait on Grundy. He didn't really come down for the second half of last year or for the last quarter of last year, but just got to wait. And if that means at the end of the year you're stuck with a Jackson or something like that, it might mean you're stuck with a Jackson. If Grundy goes up to 700, what's he going to go up to now after getting a 151? If he goes up to 700K, so he actually didn't. He almost got his break even. So he holds at 7. He's more expensive now than when at the beginning of the season by 21K. You just can't get him now. You just can't do it. We all want him, but you just can't do it. I mean, I want Bailey Smith and I want Max Holmes, but I just can't do it. And sometimes that's it with Supercoach. If you want to complete your team, you just have to. You just have to know. Yeah, Jamie, it will. You just got to hold. David Hicks, Mr. Hicks, David Hicks. Is it Morats? No, I don't think it's David Hicks. Something Hicks. I'm in the top 1,000 and picking Richards over Holmes at the start is killing you. Yeah. Just thinking about, should I trade now and chase points or hold? No, hold. I mean, I'm targeting Richards for after his bye. I probably want Richards in my team. So I think at the end of the season, you want Richards in your team. He's got the same bye as Holmes and stuff. If Holmes keeps playing in the back line and he gets DPP for the back to being a defender mid, we're all going to want him. We're all going to want him and we're all going to have to get him. But I think for now, you just hold Richards. Like I said, there's only a few clangers today between him and 100 score. Would you be saying this if he scored you 105 this week? I don't think we'd be having this discussion. It just looks so much better when they score 100, right? Like right now, I'm looking at my team, and if Walsh got 101 last week, and I'm not complaining about him at all. If that is a 98, or if it's a 92, I'm probably complaining. I'm probably whinging, like a big whinger about Walsh and how he's not doing it, how I wonder whether I should trade him or whatever. It's like that magic 3 numbers. He's only, he wasn't that far away from it. And I think they are right, people in chat. He is playing a bit injured. He's had some knocks at the beginning of the season. He's not at his best. Give him a few weeks. You'll get to the mid-season buys. He'll have his buy. You'll jump on a Holmes or a Bailey Smith or, those boys then. And then you'll have them both in the team. And all of a sudden, he's had a rest. He's had a few weeks getting some form. He'll be smashing out 120s and 130s. And everybody else is going to want him who doesn't have him. And, hopefully, like I said, I'm targeting him. I'm hoping that around the buys, I can't get any more people from the round 16 buy. But I'm hoping that that I could pick him up for under 550 or 550-ish. In the top 1,000, I think get the rookies off the field, mate. Get your rookies off the field. That's going to be your best case to getting. The more primos you have than other people, you're going to go move up into from top 1,000 up going. What's your team name, David, if you don't mind? What's your team's name? Chasing points is never a good idea, like we discovered with Bont and Gawn. Unfortunately, you can't play Supercoach with your heart, which I really struggle with sometimes. Please remind me next year, crew. Like I said, though, it's okay to start with those players. We do have our list of Supercoach plan from last year, which we updated this year. Guns and rookies, number 1, guns and rookies. No more than 1 mid-pricer in each line. 2 gun rucks. No more than 1 600k player in each line. Which potentially, except for, I should probably say except for the midfield and the ruck, where I'll allow 2, like a Bont and a Butters and a Grundy and a Gorn next year. Hold primos, no sideways, and try for 18 primos outside the buys. Try for full primos, I think. I don't think that one makes any sense. I don't know what I was trying to say there. So that's my 2026 notes that we did in 2025, and we ignored all of them, and this is the predicament we get ourselves in. So now they're the 2027 notes. Hopefully we'll actually pay attention to our own notes next year. When he was going to be an out, got Holmes, left you $100 a bank. I mean, you're happy, Karen. You've got him now. I think if you did it at the time when you thought he was going to be out, but he wasn't, I think that's okay. But he's playing now, so I think he'll get better. So for you, David, I'm not sure if he's still there, buddy. Like I said, put your name and your team there if you're in the top 1,000. We'll pop it up on the screen, and we'll have a look. But I'd like to see what a top 1,000 team looks like. See, for me, though, the round 16 buy is a tricky one. I would love Holmes. I would love Bailey Smith. But I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 primos out from that round. I cannot get any more. So until round 17, I cannot get any more. And now, if you want to copy this, don't forget to go to my Discord, and there's copies in there. You can just, like, in the Ask Seano section, I think it's in. I cannot get any more Geelong players. I cannot get any more Melbourne players. I cannot get any more St Kilda players. So that means no Nas for me. It means no Bailey Smith and no Holmes for me until round 17. And it means no Ed Richards for me until round 17. Now, if Seano wants some players, he really needs to. This is why I almost got Essendon, or this is why I almost got Zach Merritt this week. This is the buy that I need to target. Brisbane, Essendon, Sydney, and West Coast, because I have bugger all of those players. Round 15, primos, we got none. So a Zach Merritt would look really good. Heaney costs too much. Heaney would look really good. There's nobody from West Coast I want. Sorry, my beloved West Coast. There's nobody I want. Good old Brisbane, we got the luggage. Now, I wish luggage looked like he looked like he was going to moving up. The 50 last week, I'm not too sure what happened there, but maybe that's just good for us in the way of getting him. So he came back, played 50% game time, got an 89. Then he played 50% game again and got a 50, which was like, ooh. But hopefully, maybe let's say he gets a 90, then maybe 100, and then let's say he basically works into it. 483 in about 3 weeks' time. If I see more than 70% time on ground, by the time it gets to that round 9, I'm buying him. And if Zach Merritt can stay, Zach Merritt's probably going to go up around 600k this week. But if Zach Merritt gets anywhere near 550 to 580, I'm probably buying him too. And then I'm looking for guys around 500k who are going to take the risk on. Like we spoke about the Zorko, but in the midfield, there'll be people like Jordan Dawson, who might be 500k, that you might work for people last year, might just have to go there. Even the old other boy, Ashcroft is from that round. So they're the couple of Brisbane dudes, maybe, or at least one Brisbane dude. Essendon, the only person I like. Only person I want from Essendon is Merritt, potentially Archie Roberts, potentially. And Sydney, of course, we've got Heaney if he ever drops price. Besides that, so that buy is a good one. Round 14 buy, not so great. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who hopefully Houston's gone by that time. So we have 4 from there, 4 primos. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So I could probably get somebody else from either Freo, Hawthorn. Don't want any Hawthorn players. Freo, potentially Luke Jackson, or potentially a very cheap Caleb Sarong. He's another one. How cheap will Sarong get? Not Christopher Seri. Spelt Sarong. How cheap will this man get? We know he can go big. He's had basically this 97 will give him 100. So he's had a 68 and a 73. Is prone to a tag. Let's say he actually shows a bit, goes 100 every week. And he gives you one decent 100 to make you feel happy about yourself. He'll get down to 515k for a dude who can smack out a 150. You know, it's tempting. There are risks, but that's what we're going to have to do to fill up our teams. How much will Bont go down this week? A lot. Sorry, guys. My chat didn't update. Bont will go down 1. What did he get? He got a 1. He got a 135. $43,000. So he'll be at 605. And then even if he could do the exact same thing next week and get another 135 against Freo, who have a tough midfield, but Sydney is not exactly a weak midfield. He'll drop another 10k. So say he smacks out another 135, then he's going to pretty much start going back up again after that. So, I mean, and it's not easy to smack out a 135, but it is the Bont. So you should be able to get him at around the 600k. This week, it's probably buyable this week. You'll have a break even of 160. You could roll the dice. Say you roll the dice and hope that he gets like a 110. You'll get him at 580. So if you don't have the Bont, I don't think you'll get him for less than 580 unless he has another, he hasn't had 2 bad games like that in ages. If he drops a 90 or something, this week against Freo, he'll go down to 570 and that's the time to buy. So you wait this week. So yeah, you could get him this week. If you wait a week more, you'll probably you might get him at a few thousand cheaper. You might get him at 25k would be, the maximum. I'd say the maximum is 30k here. That'd be the maximum cheaper you get him. Will Holmes get DPP after Geelong's bye? We don't know, Andrew. We have to see. He has to remain in that role. It's only really been 1 week he's played in that role. So he has to play. And it's not as easy to get DPP in the mid-season DPP because the beginning of the season, they only have to play, those few games. It's based over all their games, not their games just between like round 6 and then. So he'll have to play most of his games, if not all of his games, in defence for right up until that time to get it. Thoughts on Dunkley? I don't think we can go there. I mean, I know he's really cheap, but he's just showing no signs. If you see signs, if he comes out and gets like 100 and 100, maybe. But he hasn't even cracked 100 yet. I mean, he's just doesn't seem, he's got a break even of 130, 35, was it? And he's got 101 is his max score. It just doesn't seem like the Dunkley that we're used to. We just need to see, we'll need to see something change before I think I could go there. At least those other ones, like the Caleb Sarong, at least I've seen him go 150 this year. You know, at least I've seen him have a good role where he's done really well. I don't know what's up with Dunkley. He just doesn't seem to be putting up the big scores. Holmes has been awesome. Wish I had Holmes. Needed that before he started this year, Seano. Yeah, I needed some, the slap? I needed the slap. Hey, Wayne, how are you, buddy? Hey, Nemo, how are you? All right. I want you guys, I'm going to be going for 2 seconds. I want you guys to have this discussion chat. I didn't learn how to do polls, so we're going to do, don't forget to like, don't run away. I'm going to be right back. When I come back, I want some discussion. Who is going to be the best Fallen Primo? Anderson, Sarong, McCluggage, Brayshaw, or somebody else? And I'm going to give my opinion, and we'll go to the Be Right Back screen. I want to hear what you guys think. All right, we're back. All right. That's when you plan to jump on him. Don't hurt him if you jump on him. McCluggage, Nemo, I'm with you. Okay, so the choices were Anderson, Sarong, McCluggage. I don't think, okay, let's take it. I don't think we can go Brayshaw. Now, I was a Brayshaw owner last year, and I was all pat myself on the back, and I was like, I told you guys not to pick Sarong. The Brayshaw was going to be better, and I was right. And then this year, I was very tempted to get Brayshaw again. I have to admit, I'm so glad I didn't. I was very, very tempted. He just looked, I thought he was more, he just looked like he scored points better than Sarong. And Sarong was tagged out of games last year. So I was really keen on Brayshaw, but I just haven't seen anything this year. I'm not too sure if it's a role change or whatever, but I'd have to see something a lot. Unless, if suddenly Brayshaw was 350k, you know, as your M8 and you've got no money, you know, or maybe he gets forward, he's playing a bit more forward, and he gets forward eligibility or something, then maybe I consider it. But at the moment, he's out of the calculations for me. Sarong, I think, is a good pick. I owned Anderson, and sad to say this, but yeah, he could be one you have to get back. I mean, if he gets form, he's definitely out of form, and watching him is a nightmare. I've never seen, you know, I had a really, if you go back and watch my rant a couple of videos back, it was aimed at Anderson, and, you know, besides having to look at that stupid porn star moustache that he's got on his face, I've never seen anyone stand around and look at the ball so much instead of going and getting it. But he's got Matt Rowell back now, and he's got Christian Bachaka in there as well. So I got a feeling that his standing around looking at the ball might actually work out for him, because those boys are actually going to go do the hard work for him and get the ball and give it to him. So I wouldn't be surprised if his score starts improving soon. I don't know if I could get him back after being punished from him in the preseason, but I could certainly understand other people jumping on him. I know a few people in my league have already said to me they've got him targeted because he could be below 500k. And let's be honest, if he went 100 and then let's say he just smacks out like 110 and 105, and what about this score? Give him 115. So if he goes down to 520k and he smacks out 300s in a row, I mean, that's so cheap. And if one of these is say the next one is a 95 coming back from surgery, say they give him limited time on ground, give him a 90 for the first one back, he'll be at like 495k. That's so cheap for someone who, last year just belted out huge scores. So unfortunately, I think we're going to have to target some of these guys. But my one I like the best is also McCluggage, because it's not so much that he's scored bad like Anderson. Anderson's been on the field. He's been on the field the whole bloody time and he's scored bad. McCluggage has had reduced minutes. Where are the luggage? So I don't think he's cracked over 60% TOG yet. So here we go. Where's your TOG? 60%, 50. So he's played 2 games. He played 56% TOG in one and 67% in the other. You got an 89 and a 50. Don't know why is this a 50? Why is it so terrible? Clangers. Disposal efficiency was low, only 40%. So he only had 15 kicks and 40% disposal efficiency, which is kind of wild. Yeah. Points per minute. Only did 1 tackle as well, as opposed to 5 that he did the week before. 2 free kicks against. So it seems like everything went against him last game. It's only his second game back, but it did go from 56 to 67% time on ground. So if this week, if it's like 75%, I think in about 2 weeks' time on ground comes up. We've seen what he can do. Let's look at what he did last year. He's got a stint of games at the end of the season, 119, 112, 93, 133. He's got a 53 there. I don't know why they wear that 53, but let's take that 53 out. 91, 129, 123. So 1, 2, 3, 9 games. Over 9 games, he's averaged like a 113. So, and points per minute. I really like this points per minute side. His points per minute are really good. So even in this one where he played in round 5, his points per minute are 1.3, which is really good for someone only played 56% time on field. So he just had a bit of a stinker last week, which could be really good for us price wise. So I'm saying McCluggage as well. If McCluggage gets below anywhere near 500, it's anywhere near 500. So they're giving him 84. Let's give him a 90. Give him a 90 and then like a 110. So he'll be at 480. If he gets a 90 this week and a 110 the week after, he'll be 480. I'm buying him at 480. At 480, he will be my number 1 trade-in option. If you don't have Bont, even a week's time, I don't think one more week he's not going to go down much, but he'll be around 600k. Bont at 600k is a buy. So I think that's fine. If you don't already have him, Karen Bont in 2 weeks. I think even 1 week. See him for 1 more week after this week. Yeah. Nemo says, definitely will get Bont, but I'm thinking of your flex. Ideally want Grundy to have 3 rucks. I would highly advise Nemo, wait to the 3 rucks till the back half of the season. I know it's nice to have the 3 big boys scoring huge, but it really just like it stops you sometimes getting in the people like Hugh McCluggage because you can't move stuff around enough to get them in there. Like if you say, you don't have Petrarca and all of a sudden he has a bad game, sprains an ankle or something, touch wood, and he gets down to 450, but you can't get him in because you've got a full forward line or something and you need the flex, but your flex is blocked up with a ruck and you can't move people anywhere. It just creates an issue. If it was the last 6 or 7 games of the season, like the last 8 games of the season, the buys are over, you come out of the buys and you wanted to lock away the big 3 rucks, you want Gawn, Grundy, and a Jackson or whoever. Maybe Sherry comes back and starts smashing people left, right, and centre. I'm sure he's going to be pretty angry when he plays this week. So it'll be interesting to see, what do we do if Sherry gets down to 550? English is going to be 500, So I just don't like blocking up my flex with the 3 rucks unless with that many rounds to go. I think you can wait. I know you're probably missing out on a little bit of scoring, but if you're having to pay up for the big rucks, not. If Grundy comes down to 580 or something, yeah, okay, do it. But if you don't pay 700k for Grundy and lock up your flex as well, I think you're just hampering your team. You're hampering your ability to pick up those other cheap guys in the other lines. Callahan, yep, he'll be next week. He is also high on my. It's at 139. He could be definitely in my plans next week. If he was to get, so they're saying, say he was only to get a 105 this week, he might get the Finn O'Sullivan tag. Let's say we get a bit lucky and he gets the Finn O'Sullivan tag and he gets a 90 this week. And then, so he could be down around 5'8", 520 in a couple of weeks' time. If he gets the Finn O'Sullivan tag, which he probably will. If they're going to go to anyone, they're going to go to him. Load up on the suitcase. Yep, I need a new suitcase, and I haven't been traveling for a while. Obviously, when the time's right. I think suitcase, we can wait a little bit. I think Callahan might be a pick next week. Bont is definitely, if you don't have Bont, he's a next week. Yeah, it's going to be, and Caleb Sarong, if Caleb Sarong gets less than 500, I'll probably take a swing in that as well. Freo are going to be a good team. They better play finals, otherwise I'm going to have a very grumpy and not very happy group of friends. So, and there's not going to be much for me to do in September as an Eagles supporter unless the old Freo make the finals. So they've got a very good team. I think potentially you could score big. So yeah, I might have a swing of that. So probably my order out of those people that you said I would go would be the Cluggage number 1. Sarong and Anderson, I think, are very close to each other. And then the last one was Brayshaw. I just haven't seen it yet. He would have to show us, either get very, very cheap or start showing something. It just doesn't seem to be. You like the Tiger Matty are so close to getting Clayton Oliver this week. So close. The only thing that stopped me getting him, I like the price. I like his buy. I just didn't like, I'm like in my brain, I'm like, is he top 8 midfielder? I'm like, Whitfield, I think he's top 6 defender and he has that same buy. I'm like, is Clayton Oliver a top 8 midfielder anymore? And I think he potentially could be. I mean, he's done all right. I mean, if you had picked him at the beginning of the season, you'd certainly be happy. He's had 1 score less than 100. Why is it always 69? Why is it always 69? It just is. They just want to make us content creators with dirty minds say dirty jokes. I swear it is. 117, 111, 108, and 128. With a break even, he's got a little break even. So this is the week pretty much, I think. Break even of 86. So if you want him, like that's what I was like, well, and Whitfield's got a break even of 115. So I'm like, Whitfield's not going to go up very much. So I could have got Clayton Oliver this week. Yeah, I do like it, Matty. I don't mind it. If you're getting Clayton Oliver this week, if you've already got a loaded backline, say you've got one of Whitfield or Ash in your backline, and you want to pick up Clayton Oliver in your midfield, I mean, I couldn't knock it. He's not the Clayton Oliver of old, but he's very consistent this year, and so I think with Tom Green out, he showed that he's going to be that man. And Tom Green's not coming back this season. So I don't see how I could debate picking him. Yeah, Nemo, like we had a bit of a chat about this, and this both today and last time in the live videos. I think you got a clear top 4. Well, I think you got a clear top 3 of the 3 I think that I've got here, Sheasel, Petrarca, and Pickett. I think you can almost include Tuke Miller as a top 4. Definitely in your top 6. He has potential to have, he's going to be pretty consistent. He can have ceiling scores, but not huge. Like a Miller ceiling score is a 120, but it's still better than some. And I think he'll be fairly consistent. And the other one is the Mr. I'm held together with sticky tape, Jason Horne-Francis, which had a good day in the midfield, he's probably got a higher ceiling than a Tuke Miller. Like he can get you 150. I think he's already got a 147 this year. The horny one. The problem with him is not his scoring. It's his take this 48 out in game 1, right? He's gone 147, 75, 85, 88, and a 119. So he's got potential to go huge. So plus, I think he goes up and down a little bit. I think those guys, I'm aiming to get those guys in my team, and then it's like I don't know. They're the guys that I think are probably going to be the most consistent. The Worrells, the Connor McDonald's and stuff. Sorry, not the Worrells. The Rochelle's, the Connor McDonald's, the Justin McInerney. They're all going to be up and down, and they're going to be up and down all season. And when you buy them, you're just going to have to ride that. And it's not a bad thing. They're a forward. If the forwards are getting you anywhere between 90 and 110 most weeks, that's close to a top 6 forward, and you don't have to worry about it. It's not like in the midfield where the difference between the top 3 midfields are, an average of. So what are our top? So we got an average of 128, 119, and 125 for the top 3 midfielders, and then you go down to like a Walsh, who's 100. So if you pick the wrong midfielder, that's a 25 difference points every single week between, the best and someone who's not in a top 6 or not in a, top 8. Whereas in the forward line, if these guys like the best, so take out Sheasel and Petrarca. So the next guy is Pickett, it's at 100. So the difference between him and someone like a Rochelle is only 10 points or 5 points. So he's averaging 88. So there's 12, 15 points difference. So it doesn't hurt you as much to have those medium guys. And the same goes with the back line. If you've got, the Sinclairs and the Whitfields that can smack out a 150, as opposed to if this Josh Dacos, if the best he can do is like 100 through there. At the end of the year, if Sinclair's 115, Whitfield's 115 average, and Dacos is at 95, 100, that's a lot to lose. The forward line, I think, is the one you can afford to get away with it the most. Whereas if you make wrong decisions in the midfield and the back line, it can really, really hurt you. So those guys, I think, they're always going to be up and down. Just my only thing with the forward line is don't pick the key forwards. Just don't pick the key forwards, and you'll be less up and down. You'll be less up and down. You're always going to be a bit up and down, but if you're picking the key forwards, you'll be very much up and down. Jamie, yeah, cheaper option on the rocks. I might have to go McAndrew as well. Well, even I still have space. To go Jackson. I still have space to get like we talked about. I'm quite happy to get 3 rucks after the buy. So like round 15 onwards, round 17 onwards. If I've got Gawn, Jackson, potentially even English. If English was around 500, I want Gawn and Grundy. But if Grundy is still at 700k, that just might not be doable. But, but that's after that time. I still think if you were going for the top 1,000 or the top 100 or the 50k, you want Gawn and Grundy, and you'd sell your firstborn child. I don't have children, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't be saying that. But you'd sell something that's very dear to you to get those 2 guys into your team. But if you're not, you might just have to live with the value options. Yeah, he's going to be up and down. Yeah, Matty, I think I looked at him as well because I like his buy, and I just have more faith in Miller and Jason Horne-Francis. Both injury worries, yes. Both have a higher ceiling. I'm maybe Miller doesn't have the highest ceiling. Maybe Miller. I just feel like Miller is consistent. 120, 103, 116, 88, 72, 103. If he can just persist with these scores around these first 3, take out, these couple of down scores here, and then, if his floor is the 88, take out the 72, I'll live with that. 120 as his max and 100 and, 88 to 90 as his minimum. And we'd sit getting around, in the middle there, closer to the 103 is the minimum. I'll be very happy with that. This makes me wonder. What about you guys? If Miller versus Horne-Francis, who you going? Maddie, who you going? People in chat, who you going? Miller versus Horne-Francis. Right now, today, form, say they're the exact same price. They've got the same buy. So say you only can have one of them. You can't have them both. I can't have them both. Otherwise, I have like Sheasel, Petrarca, Pickett, Miller, and Horne-Francis. My whole forward line's out. Who are you going? Karen says, Horny man. Yeah, that's the other thing, Maddie, with Miller. Will be interesting. Want to see what they're like all together. So maybe that's a tick for the Horne-Francis box for you. Let's keep it going, Kuyang, to the next game. Can't hardly wait. I don't think I can keep streaming to the next game, buddy. Even though it's a lot earlier for me than it probably what is. It's only 11 o'clock for me. God knows what it is your time for you guys in the Eastern States, but we'll probably knock it off soon. You can't do another 4-hour stream. I don't want to bore everyone for 4 hours. I've bored everyone enough, though, so it's probably time to be liking 26 concurrent viewers, current flavored viewers. So all you current flavored viewers, please like. We're going on 3 hours now. So, yes, please like the video. Seano's been talking for 3 hours. He's dry as a you-know-what. Anzac, yes. All of a couple of my uncles and grandparents all served in the services. So big thank you to everyone out there who has served for this great country of ours, and these, who is currently serving for our country. Yes, Anzac Day, like take a minute and just remember these people that gave up, the ones that are giving up their lives. They've given up their lives in the past, and they are giving up their lives at the current picture, just so we can live a nice life. Tiger Matty, Nemo says, Tiger Matty got Flanders, Murphy Reed, Rochelle currently in the top 2,000, just waiting for all three to go shite. It could happen at any stage, mate. Nice to see Flanders got a decent score. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but like I said, bumpy ride in the forward line, not too bad. Bumpy ride in the midfield or the defenders, not good. So those guys in the forward line, like I don't regret getting Petrarca, but I paid up for him. And I guess I got Pickett at a good time. I got him at about just over 500. I think he was like 515, so he's more expensive than that now. You can afford, if I was going to pick one, I've almost talked myself into Jason Horse-Francis. I said if the prices are the same, but just because he's cheaper, I feel like you can pick up, a good forward for 450 to 500. You don't have to pay 550 for him. Yes, it's probably ideal to pay up for Sheasel and Petrarca. And you definitely want to jump on Petrarca if he gets down to that 550 after this week. But you can get a decent forward for 450. You can't get a decent midfielder for 450 very often. They just doesn't happen. Yeah, Tiger Matty, take that advice, Nemo, from Tiger Matty, as he's been where you are before. Hold firm in your trades. You're in a good position. You can afford to have a good look. Yep. Jamie Bryant says he was 4K short of getting Pickett. Had to go Bailey. Wasn't a disappointment until last week. Like I said, he'll be up and down. He'll be back. I think Bailey's a decent pick. He's right up there. He's just that tier below, right? Where I've got Miller, and there's tier 1, which is Sheasel, Pickett, and Petrarca. Maybe even Pickett's down in tier 2. Tier 2, say there's Sheasel and Petrarca. Tier 1, guys can just go 180, and they're averaging 120 now. So those type of guys. Tier 2, the Picketts, where, they can get you a 130 or 140. We'll put Jason Horne-Francis and Tuke Miller in there as well. They play the midfield. They can get you a big score, but they're probably going to be more around the 100. And then you got the tier 3s, and they're the Flanders, the Rochelles, the Connor McDonalds, the Baileys, the McInerney's, all of those guys. And they're in the tier 3 where they can get you a decent score, but they can also shoot the bed. And they're probably going to be closer to where Flanders is here, a 90. A 90. I think it's fair if you've got 3 or 4 of the good ones, the tier 1s and tier 2s, and a couple of the tier 3s, I think you're fine in the forward line. It doesn't hurt you as much in the forward line. Even in the rookies, I intend to leave Marshall, and I was even intending to bring on Murdoch down here. One of those boys for quite some time, because at the moment, Ralph, you needed.
Me fail English? Me fail English? That's impossible.
That's for the moment. I think that's fine. You got Murdoch is scoring more than Flanders, average wise. So having him, if Philippou would go somewhere else to do his poo, and we could get we were a bit luckier if Murdoch had played and we had DPP, or we will get it before the buys and have him down here. with, say, one of those third tier guys here, like a Rochelle or someone, I think you're fine. And I think getting those McCluggage guys, the guys that can smack out the 120s to 130s every week and go big and get your 150s, 160s are going to be much more important. Like you getting those guys for 500 to 550 is going to be a lot more important than picking up one of those forwards from 450 to 500. In the run home, yeah, it's going to be much more important. So I think it doesn't, if you don't worry too much about having some of those tier 3 forwards. Karen says she likes Jason Francis, Jamie Bryant's 2, Wayne Randall's likes Miller. Karen says 107, you bet again. Good night, Karen, if you fall asleep. 4 p.m., where are you, Buckle? Buckle, wait, where are you? 4 p.m., what country are you in? England? Could you be in the UK? 7 hours behind? I lived in England for a little while. That's normally, depending on where you are, about 7 hours behind. That makes sense. It makes about sense. You're in the UK, doing like a working holiday in London. At least these days you get K on stuff, mate. In my days when I lived in London, I had to bloody well find out about how the Eagles did by bloody carrier post, by letter, by pigeon. They used to attach it to the leg of a pigeon and send it to me. Ask the same question after this round when all the great sunny mids played together. Horny Man should get better and a lot younger than Took. Both are prone to injuries. Yeah, Matty, I think it's right. I think we can ask again. I still think, would anyone disagree with me with saying that after the top 3 that I've got here, Sheasel, Petrarca, Flanders, they're probably with my tier system? Anyone disagree that they're probably in tier 2? And the rest of those other groups are in tier 3. Does anyone think that they should be put in tier 1, or they should be delegated to tier 3? You're only 30,000 behind, Nemo. And I'm only another 30,000 behind you, Tiger. Are you in Leeds? You're Aussie, you doing on a working holiday or something, are you? I've done a bit of travel. Seano lived in England for a year and did the working holiday thing. And I also lived in Canada for a year. Did the ski resort and working holiday thing when he was very much a younger man, less grey in the beard then and more hair on the top of the head. Good old days. But yes, I did miss the football very much so when I lived over there. And there was no such thing as, well, internet, basically, on the first trip. Pretty much there was, but not widely renowned. What do you think, crew? Have we done enough? It's been a while. If anyone hasn't already liked, please like. Pod in the forward line. I think so too, Nemo, but once Libba comes back and Trelaw goes more time, just worried about, he'll be another up and down one. At the moment, he's doing very well with, they've got a few injuries, he's getting a bit more time. But just like he was last year, they've just got a stacked midfield. They've just got an absolutely stacked midfield. And there's no, just like everyone thought that the fridge was going to be really good in there as well. So 122, 95 and 92 since he's been having, the more midfield time. But this could easily drop off. It's just, again, he's in that, probably the tier 3. He's in the tier 3. But yeah, like all those guys in tier 3, there's guys who can steal their CBAs. Someone can steal. Goulden comes back, steals McInerney's CBAs. Connor McDonald, he's having his stolen by Mackenzie. You got Rochelle, he could have his stolen by Rankinine. They're up in the air, and that's why they're at the 450 price. But if he was your D6, I don't think it's a bad pick. Certainly wouldn't want him to be probably D5 or higher. in Victoria, Wayne. Yeah, when I got there to Canada, they have here's a story. All right, I'm going to take after a little bit of a shorty. I usually don't tell too many stories about my life, but here's a story for you. Before we leave, I'll give you all a bedtime story. All right, Karen, you ready to go to sleep? So yes, when I went to Canada, I used to work in 5-star hotels. So I worked in Vancouver at a 5-star hotel for a while. And then I wanted to go up and work the ski season at Whistler Ski Resort, like every other bloody Aussie in Canada does. So I went up there at the beginning of the season before the ski season started. And they have like a jobs fair. And Seano coming from Australia and whatever, I thought, it's a job fair. Like you go there and they have a whole lot of booths and you like talk to people in the booths and try and apply for jobs, give them your resume and have a chat to them. And so I was a backpacker, but I had reasonably nice clothes. I had a pants and a nice jumper and a collared shirt and everything. So I looked respectable, no suit or anything, but I looked respectable. And I roll up this job fair and I look around, I look to the left, I look to the right, and there's like Canadians with their hats on backwards and their baggy snow pants and stuff on. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm getting a job, which is basically exactly what I thought. I just looked at these guys and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely getting a job. So I go walk around to the booths. One of the first booths I come to, they go, do you want to work inside or outside? And I'm like, I'm from Perth, Australia. There's no way I can work outside. And they were like, oh, all right, then go over here. And so I ended up working as for the people who sell the tickets for Go Up the Mountain. And they were like, hey, you've got a little bit of, supervisor experience. Do you want a supervisor role? And I was like, and they're like, it's an extra $3 an hour. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. Okay. So Sean ended up as a supervisor for the people that sold tickets who went up the mountain to ski in Whistler. And in the office was 6 girls and Sean. And Sean was a happy man. Talking about when he's in third person, he's a happy man. So there was me traveling, me and 6 girls, all rather attractive young ladies who I was also a young man at those days, who were there having fun and, you get a free ticket to go up the mountain because you're working for the company who does all the skis there. You get a free season pass, which is worth thousands of dollars. And it was an amazing job. I had an amazing time. One of the best companies I've ever worked for. They have a really good policy about making you have fun while you work. And then they say, it's like, if you're having fun, then the customers can see it and they have fun as well, even though you had to put up with complaints sometimes. And my job was to deal with the complaints. So that is my story, how I ended up working in the ski resort, me and my harem. And good times it was. And got to travel all through South America and down through the west coast of the US while I was there, which was amazing. Always first thing to do, Sean, is hit the like button. Yes, thank you very much, Maddie. We're going to wrap it up, I think, now. So hitting the like button would help me up. I finished with a story. If you like the story time, I'm happy to tell you some stories. I'll tell you this. If you remember, ask me about my trips in the Amazon. It involves alligators, anacondas, and a rather large cobra. So we'll keep that story for next time. Next live, if you remember, the next live video, ask me about that one. But before we go, don't forget, hit that like button. That really helps me out a lot. Sub if you haven't already subbed. Now just do that. If you've already been listening to me and watching me, or you watch me in the future, just sub. Why not? Doesn't hurt. Should be a button down there somewhere on the screen. You don't have to leave the screen. So, that would be awesome. Buckle says, wait, nope, you're a pom, just playing the game. Only player I knew before March was Gary Ablett. Shows your age. Guy, probably the best Supercoach player ever. Gary Ablett Jr., not the dirty bugger, which was his father. It was a long time before Supercoach came along. Probably NRL, but enjoying learning about Clang as a supposed to you post a team for a laugh. Nice, mate. Well, welcome. Welcome. I really enjoyed I made a lot of really good English friends, and I do call them Poms lovingly, as they call me all types of names. Your daughter is a lifty and whistler at the moment? Yeah, she's having I'll tell you what, she's having an absolute ball. I worked close with the lifties because I sold the tickets and they scanned the tickets that went up the time, and they got the people off the lifts, which is hilarious. If you're ever been to the ski field and you haven't been there before and watching people trying to get off the lifts, especially on snowboards, you can just like sit down with a drink all day and just watch people like face plant as they try to get off the lifts, which is always very enjoyable. So, yeah, I'm sure she's having the absolute time of her life. I did, and Whistler is an amazing place. Beautiful, like a little Swiss village in the middle of Canada. The only problem with Whistler is there's all the bloody Australians there. Doing the Seano, you appreciate you guys staying up because it's not actually that late for me. So I appreciate all you guys. I'm Seano, get me out of here. Pretty much, Wayne. Don't forget ask that story in the future. I'll tell you the story. Karen, yeah, Indiana Jones. It felt like Indiana Jones, just with me and no whip or hat or good-looking Harrison Ford. But good story. But I'll save that one for next time. As usual, we'll task you one more time to like, and now I'm going to say good night and goodbye to everyone, like we tried to do, because I really appreciate you guys and everyone being here and hanging out with me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And even though I've got a crap score, you still actually listen to me and support me and barrack for me to go up the ranks as well. So, yeah, I really appreciate every one of you who have come and hang out with me or watching out in the future. And we'll be back for our round review video on Monday. And because next week is a work week, it'll be Monday for round review, Tuesday or Wednesday for trades and captains, depending on how things go. And then Thursday, lunchtime-ish, probably for you guys in the Eastern States, for the live video next week. No, after the game, it will have to be around lunchtime. So thank you, Karen. Good night. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Wayne Randalls. Thanks, Nemo. Thanks, Tiger Maddie. Thanks, Arbuckle. Thank you for joining us from the UK. Get some of your other UK mates to come and play Supercoach on a sport they have no clue about. Who else have we got? Kuyang, good to see you, my friend. David Hicks, thank you. Andrew 82, Jamie Bryant. Oh, I can only go so far up on there. Wayne Randalls, did we say you? Andrew, yeah, I think we said, did we not? And Mass, good to see you, Mass. Thank you for dropping by. Lots of good chat out there tonight. Jack Blucher, nice to see you. Michael West Coast Eagle, nice to see you. Muzz32, thanks. Rangatank, thank you. I didn't miss anyone's team, hopefully. Don't forget to get your teams into Discord for next week if you want to throw your team up. Isamano, good to see you, mate. Thank you for joining in. I don't like cheese. It's always nice to see your cheese. I think we must be getting near the top. Okay, sorry if I missed anyone who said anything in chat. But, and yes, I really hope that Gorn needs to go nuts to counter for that massive score, which Grundy got, which is already hurting a little bit. Put Butters on the bench. I don't know if I could do that. I know he's probably going to get tagged, but I don't know. Surely you've got someone else that can go on the bench. Don't you have like a rookie, like a Smith or someone? Do you really think Smith is going to score more than Butters, or Griller's going to score more than Butters? Should you take Grundy's score? Yeah, nah, take a swing at it. No. Seano didn't say that. Seano said take Grundy's score. All right, thank you, everybody. We're going to call it quits there. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will speak to everyone very soon.